Alright, I think we're good. If I set this up correctly, you guys should be able to hear Zach.
Hello.
Give a thumbs
You
up
should be able
if
to
you
see
can
it.
hear him.
You should be able to see me, the bar bouncing up and down with your desktop audio. So,
Yeah, the desktop
all right.
audio's coming through.
And as long as both of our bars are hitting about the same level, then that's.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
we are good. Sounds good?
the one
Excellent.
says it sounds good. All right. So, let's wham bam thank you bam. Let's jam. Let's
Sweet.
talk about this.
I currently can't record for YouTube because OBS is giving me trouble, so we can just do this live with like out
Well, you
any.
can grab it off of Twitch.
I can.
Yeah, I'll show you how to do it afterwards.
Oh, that's incredible. I
It's
would I
it's
would love
it's
that.
actually a huge bump to efficiency. It's way, way, way faster and easier.
Okay, I need to start doing that then. Yes, please show
Yep,
me
I'll,
after
I'll
we're
I'll show
done
you.
with all
I'll show you
this.
after the stream. No problem.
Excellent. Hannah, can you hear everything okay?
I don't have the microphone on.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, yeah, let's get started. Hello, everybody. My name's Jacob. I mostly play Blue Moon, but today we're doing something special. My good friend Zach is coaching me on how to play a deck that he's very skilled at, 4-color Velomacus. And forgive me if I'm wrong with the description of this deck at all, but I believe the
No, no,
game
for
plan
it.
is
I want to hear your description.
you want to get a Dwarven Mine down because this generates possibly the only creature in your deck with the exception of Hard Evidence. And then you want to cast Indomitable Creativity targeting a creature token and or an artifact because you can generate clues here with Hard Evidence. And then that'll turn into one of two things. It'll either turn into a copy of Emrakul the Eon's Torn, and you can just swing through and annihilate your opponent for 6 on the next turn, or it'll turn into Velomacus Lorehold, which is a big dragon. It flies, it has vigilance, it has haste, and it lets you cast a instant or sorcery from the top 7 cards of your library for free. And one of those cards would be Time Warp, so the conceit is you swing with Velomacus, exile a Time Warp, and you just keep hitting them over and over again with the dragon. Hopefully they don't have interaction with it. But that's more or less the game plan, and you're playing all these planeswalkers, all these removal spells to make things as difficult for your opponent as possible, so that when you cast that Indomitable Creativity, it's going to resolve without them killing your creature. The best planeswalker for that's Teferi, makes your opponent play at sorcery speed, so you get to decide when to go for this, and if you go for it on your turn, your opponent can't interact with you. Teferi's just a fun guy that way. And I love this card, Prismari Command. It not only can generate a artifact token for Indomitable Creativity, but it can ramp you into your combo a bit quicker so that you can hold up interaction while you combo, like in the sideboard games, because you got Flusterstorms, Mystical Disputes, stuff like that. Or you can loot, kill a creature, do a bunch of other stuff. I really like looting in this deck because you can just get rid of the chaff cards to try and find the stuff that's really good. It works great with Wrenn and 6 because you just keep picking up your lands and then you discard them to Prismari Command and it just generates card advantage that way. And
Mm-hmm.
also, the crab generated from Hard Evidence is really good at blocking Rakavan. This is like the blue Thraben Inspector, more or less.
Absolutely.
Is that a fair assessment of Hard Evidence?
Yeah. So, let's back off just a slightly bigger sort of a meta sense of these archetypes. So there's now a group of decks that are the Indomitable Creativity archetype. And they started off with the one that I pushed and played a lot of, which was Velomacus Turns, and I call it like Velomacus Turns Classic or something, anything like that. So that one had 2 Velomacus because you wanted a little redundancy, no other threats, or nothing else for your creativity to hit. And it also played 4 copies of Savor the Moment in addition to the Time Warps, and this made the hit rate for your attacking them over and over and over again more than twice as high, right? Like, because you'll draw one of them, and so you'll have 7 in your deck rather than 3.
Right.
So that deck was quite capable of killing people on turn 3 or 4. There's also played Growth Spiral to ramp.
Oh, right, that could work. Yeah.
But since then, the format has gotten very grindy and interactive in the early game, and there's not a lot of linear decks, which gave rise to Zack and I coming along and making an Indomitable Creativity deck that just had Emrakul in it. But then when Elementals started becoming popular, they had things like Solitude, and they could exile both your Emrakuls, and then you were SOL.
Yes.
And the good thing about the Velomacus decks...
for the follow.
Oh, there you go. The good thing about these decks with the pure Velomacus version is Time Warp plus Brennan 6 can go infinite turns, which is
just keep retracing, right?
Correct. So you get a emblem off one Renin 6, and then potentially you cast a second one, and then you have infinite turns, and you just get like one dwarf and you kill them. You can kill them with anything you want. At that
hilarious.
Point. But it's very real. Like when I was playing the old version, it would happen, like not infrequently. And then sort of between those two versions, people started to figure out that, oh, wait a minute, if you put in two different creatures or non-legendary creatures, you can get a whole mix of creatures off of your Indomitable Creativity. And so now there exists multiple different versions. Some play one Emrakul and one Sarah's Emissary. I'm not going to get into explaining why, but that's one of the very good choices. One Velomacus and one Emrakul is a good choice. Some are even playing just like two Archon of Creativity. There's a reanimator version that also does that. Sorry, Archon of Cruelty.
Right.
So and they all exist on a spectrum of exactly what you want to happen when you Indomitable for X2.
Right.
So, and you're sort of insulating yourself from different parts of the metagame. So this one, we're going to try to get Indomitable X2 a lot of the time, just because it means we get both an Emrakul and a Velomacus. So the Velomacus gives us value this turn, and Emrakul is going to threaten to kill them next turn. And they kind of have to deal with both.
Okay,
so Indomitable... Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
Right, and you can even do things like X3 or X4 to dodge spot removal. But more than that, if they have, say, an Ensnaring Bridge, you can get your two and kill their Ensnaring Bridge. It's going to flip into the next creature or artifact in their deck.
Which is probably not another Ensnaring Bridge.
Probably not. It hasn't happened to me yet.
That's
but I'm sure it's happened to someone.
Use of that card.
Yes, it is. Well, creativity, well named.
Yeah.
So those are the two major things, is that Indomitable Creativity, the X on that is super important for these decks, both for the core functionality of it, but also for, interesting or creative plays that you might be making at some time or another. So we'll keep our eyes open for that. And then the version I sent you is just a bunch of 4-ofs, and it's a little bit more I think accessible and clean and consistent than some of the newer ones. So I like that about it. You covered most of everything else, and then Nahiri the Harbinger is not great in a pure Velomacus version, but since we're playing Emrakul, sometimes we just land a Nahiri on turn 4 and we just protect it, and then we Emrakul them.
Yeah, and she's also decent at just getting rid of those problem artifacts and enchantments, or looting away the dead cards.
Absolutely. So
it's good to see Nahiri seeing some play again.
Absolutely. The one thing you need to know about this deck is anytime you run into a deck that might possibly be playing Blood Moon, that is your worst enemy. Blood Moon
that's funny,
almost entirely shuts this deck down.
Some ways we can deal with it are just Prismari Command making treasure tokens, or so we can Indomitable those, but also so that we can generate white or blue mana to cast Teferi Time Raveler and bounce the Blood Moon, perhaps.
Yep, we also have Prismatic Ending. So this version of the deck is intended to go slower, and as such, we have two basic lands. We have both a plains and an island in the main deck. This is not always how these decks are constructed, but this version is built to sort of be a little bit more beginner friendly, but it does mean there will be some matchups where early in the game we have to shock to get red mana, which is not great.
I imagine our burn matchup isn't super.
No, and like you could change the sideboard to have copies of Timely Reinforcements. I've played that card a lot in these decks. The burn matchup's not awful though, because like you have Hard Evidence, Lightning Bolt, and Prismatic Ending to buy you time in the early game.
That
and against
crab
burn, you
will
really
do the
don't.
work.
Yeah, and against burn, you really don't need to futz around. You just you probably just board out Velomacus and the Time Warps, board in some Aether Gusts, and just put an Emrakul into play and kill them on hopefully turn 4.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to deal with an Emrakul, so it's fine just to have that be your only guy. And then if you draw it, you can always loot it away with Prismari Command.
Right.
Mikey
So
Planeswalker,
anyway,
thank you for the follow.
There we go. So yeah, this is a version that is, it's not perfect. It's not 100% up to date, but it'll be very, very, very reasonable. And so if you're ready, let's take it on out.
I am so ready. Jade, thank you for the follow. All right. I believe this is the correct one. There we go. This is me losing to Hammer Time in the past.
That happens. Happens to everyone.
Alrighty. So my general play style when I learn new decks is to take things very, very slow. So I apologize to the people watching if I go a bit slow, but I want to make sure I do this correctly.
There we go. So no worries. That's the right way to do it. So in this deck, you can pull up the deck list. I think there's a button that I can't quite see, or you can do it here. So the number 1 card we want to be able to cast on turn 2 is Wrenn and 6. And my default 2 lands to get almost every time is Raugrin Triome and a Stomping Ground. Those are the first 2 lands you get in most cases, unless you need to play interaction on one. Raugrin Triome, that's the Jeskai Triome, blue, white, and red, and then a Stomping Grounds to play Wrenn and 6.
Because then you just have all your colors.
Not only do you have all your colors, the most important thing about that is you leave the Sacred Foundry in your deck, because you are more likely to want untapped white mana than you are to need untapped green mana.
Okay, that makes sense, because Wrenn and 6 is the only green card in the deck.
Right. So if you do it the other way around, which is you get a Ketria Triome and a Sacred Foundry, you'll find sometimes in the mid-game, you'll be like, I have this fetch land in play, and I just drew this white card I need to play, and I can't.
Okay.
I literally can't.
That's a good trick to know.
Yeah, it's just like one of those like default patterns where it's like if you play the deck a couple times and then just look at the list and think about it, you go, wait a minute, this is just objectively correct in almost all cases.
So you want to get the Jeskai Tri-Land and the Stomping Grounds, just so that you can draw those white cards and actually cast them when you need to.
Right. If you ever need double white on a turn, you will be able to do that.
All right. So
whereas if you do it the other way around, you may not be able to. Your chat is really wide. Thickums.
There we go.
You want it wider? Oh, I see, because you're on your overlay. Yeah, I see. Okay.
So I don't know if this is a good hand or not. We have access to all of our colors.
Right.
We just keep this, right? We got some decent interaction. We can maybe Indomitable Creativity in the late game. If we draw a land, we can Prismari Command and leave away these.
For me, this is a snap mulligan.
Okay.
And the reason why is it's kind of threefold. You only have 2 lands. The 2 lands can't cast Wrenn and 6. Neither of them are fetches. And then on top of that, this hand just doesn't have a plan. And this deck mulligans quite well. So
okay, it does mulligan well.
Oh, super well. You can go to 5s and win a lot of games.
Interesting.
This is perfect. So other than the fact there's only 1 land.
All right. Explain to me
this
how
is bad.
it's
You're just going to 5. Well, you have fetch land and Wrenn and 6, but I think you're going to 5 on this.
Okay.
I mean, unless you want to be a little risky, but I think you can comfortably go to 5.
I think
opponents
go to 5.
has not revealed Luris, so we can slightly more. Okay, we'll go to 4.
Okay.
No, nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. All right, so this is a good 4. You probably just keep 3 lands plus your choice. Teferi's the most powerful. Prismatic Ending is the most flexible, and the Lightning Bolts are the sort of, if you really think that they're going to be dashing Ragavan.
Well, because they don't have Luris, I'm more leaning towards Teferi. I don't think
So
we'll
keep the
need to
Teferi.
interact as much.
Yep.
So
Perfect.
I'm going to
So
keep
just
this.
ship, and you're good to go. On the plus side, the opponent might be a little tilted, and they might be like, "Man, I should have kept a different hand against Tron."
Or they're
Oh
playing
no, they
Tron.
are Tron.
How's the Tron matchup?
For these versions, not as good as the old Velomacus decks,
Okay.
but that's okay. Nothing to worry about.
So
my
we
friend.
just play
Nothing to
Arid
worry.
Mesa, get the
Yep.
Jeskai Triome end of turn.
Yep.
Hope they don't natural Tron us.
Yeah. Well, even turn 3 will be probably good enough here, but that's why we have some Alpine Moons in the sideboard.
Mm-hmm. There was only 14 sideboard cards in the list you sent me, so I just put
Sure.
in another Mystical Dispute.
That works fine for me.
Just
I was wondering why you
clarify
had the
that.
Mystical Disputes open in your collection.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
searching
All
for
right.
them.
So they got turn 3 Tron. Depending on which payoff they have, we might just be dead on the spot. But that also was going to happen even if we had a great hand.
Alrighty.
In
Does
most
Tron
cases.
have any hate for this deck? Is there a benefit to conceding
Basically,
early?
nobody has hate for this deck.
Oh, that's interesting. So
Other than
Tron.
Blood Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
obviously wouldn't
Blood-
be running that.
No, I'm just saying, like, I mean, I wouldn't call Blood Moon hate, like, specifically for this kind of deck, but, yeah, there you go. So,
Probably just playing Arid Mesa, right?
yeah, play the Arid Mesa. Well, you want to shoot for 4 mountains by turn 4, even though you're not likely to want to do that in this version of the deck. It's still maybe something you have to do, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to creativity X1 on turn
They
4.
play Karn here, we just can.
Yeah, you're just dead here.
Okay.
It's fine.
That's a shame.
Yeah. I would say generally the Tron matchup is not good for these decks. The old version of Velomacus had a little bit better of a time. And then, of course, you can see our sideboard is not particularly well set up for Tron. So I'd bring in Alpine Moon and probably Flusterstorm or Wear Tear. And then I think you'd probably just board out the Lightning Bolts.
Yeah,
Almost
I
always.
can't imagine Bolt being good in this matchup. Prismatic
Nope.
Ending can at least get rid of a map.
Yep.
Alright.
Even tagging a chromatic star or sphere sometimes messes up their colors.
Yeah, it's not like we're doing a whole lot in the early game anyway. So
Nope.
we'll just submit that. Give it another shot.
Yep. I'm pretty sure this deck list was from a time where I wasn't thinking about Tron at all, but we have Alpine Moons at least.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tron was...
combo on turn 4.
Yep. We just don't know what we're going to get, right? If we can go X2 on turn 4, that would be pretty great.
Yeah. Because that way we can hopefully spin into an extra turn spell, and then we basically just win.
I did take out the classic version like a couple weeks ago on a Friday night and 5-0 with it, which was pretty funny because it should be very bad in this metagame, but it was just one of those leagues.
Terrible
Wow.
hand.
Yeah, but I mean, we've been most of our terrible hands have been because they're one-landers. This is slightly better, but I still think I would go to 5 on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like we're not going to be able to mine on turn 4, which is one that...
No, well, I mean, in this hand, that mine's going down on turn 1, but it's just...
Interesting.
Yeah, you just play a tap mine. Because you have 4, and every fetch is a mine, and there are 12 fetches.
Okay.
So you're
another
very...
mulligan to 5.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
This is obviously
Renin
some
6,
super
Alpine
brutal
Moon.
consistency.
I love this.
Yep. So we ship the Time Warp and
Teferi, right?
probably it's Teferi, yep.
Yeah.
Because Alpine Moon helps us break up their Tron. We've got Renin 6. So you can just go fetch the Raugan Triumph, fetch the Stomping Ground, play the Renin 6, and then on turn 3 you could do the Alpine Moon.
Yeah.
Or if you want to be a little bit more mana efficient, because you really don't need to be cautious about your life total, you could just fire off the Alpine Moon on turn 1.
We could do that. And what land would I get with that? Stomping Ground?
Probably Stomping Ground, because then no matter what you draw, you're going to be okay. The thing is, Renin 6 is going to fix your colors forever for now.
Mm-hmm. I just want to make sure I don't mess up my sequencing.
Yeah, just get Stomping Ground first, and then I would
fetch
get...
land doesn't matter, right?
Nope, not in this matchup. Each of those gets one of your basics, but you actually don't want them in this matchup.
I'm just going to name Tower.
Yep. The name Tower is fine. Good thing we didn't bring in those Void Mirrors.
Yeah, no kidding. Alrighty.
Yeah, and then on 2 you can fetch probably Steam Vents, but if you get Sacred Foundry, it'll be fine because Renin 6 is going to pick up and fetch anyway.
Mm-hmm. So Steam Vents, Sacred Foundry, should be okay.
Mm-hmm.
If we draw Prismatic Ending, is there any merit in just exiling this now?
There actually is, because you don't need to play Renin 6 this turn because you already have your land drop. So that's like another thing where Renin 6 picking up lands is great. But if you don't need the land drop on a particular turn, you don't need to play the Renin 6. You can always wait a turn.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Obviously, it's much more complicated than that, right? But by and large,
yeah, this deck seems to have a lot of things going on.
It does. There's a chance they get Blast Zone with this map the next turn, and then you're going to need to figure out a way around that. But obviously, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Mm-hmm. They can also tap this for green to destroy this, but I don't even know if
they brought in Wilt. Yeah, I mean, they do play Wilt and or Force of Vigor in their sideboard. The question is whether or not they brought it in against us. We have no idea, right?
Right.
So obviously you can't really shatter that map or anything like that, but you're just set up to go loot and make a treasure this turn, most likely.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to fetch... I think I get Sacred Foundry here.
Yep, just have all your colors set up.
Pick things up, put them down.
That's right. And then if they're going to use the map, and then we'll see where we end up. If they do try to kill your Alpine Moon, you can Prismari command in response to go loot treasure and try to hit the Flusterstorm. Mm-hmm. There's only 2, but you could try.
Yeah, I might as well do it now. Like, if they do that, right?
If they force. You don't... It's your turn, they have to force now. If they have it. They didn't, so that's good.
Nice. Oblivion
and then you can Prismari command it there.
Could be kind of annoying here, but depending on what we draw, it just won't matter.
Right.
What is
also, O-Stone would be pretty funny.
Oh, okay. Wait, did I not say Oblivion Stone? What did I say?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't hear it quite.
I think I said Oblivion Stone. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe you did.
It's late at night for me. Yeah, they're in the tank here.
Yeah, they must have a couple of mediocre options. I'm assuming they have a way to remove... Nope. They would be tapping green if they were removing your Alpine Moon.
Do they have Dismember? Would they bring in Dismember against this deck? To
I mean, they could, and Dismember actually used to be very good against these decks. It's not anymore because it's hard to know what we're on.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the threats that these decks play nowadays do not die to Dismember. Velomacus does, but not all of these decks are playing that. So it's really hard to know, especially when you didn't see anything in game 1, right? We didn't show them any of the threats we're playing. So
well, I mostly meant removal for like the dwarf token, but we can always
yeah. I mean,
we can
that,
get
that's something.
So
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Or treasure token, and then they can interact with that.
Exactly. Yeah. They have 1 green. They have another Ancient Stirrings. Perhaps.
What'd they get with the first
Nature's
one?
Claim.
No, they're
I haven't seen
stirring
Nature's
it.
Claim in a minute.
Okay.
Stirring the pot. Stirring it up. Stir it up.
Another tower. So they will have 2 green mana next turn.
2 green mana. They get hard cast their Force of Vigor.
They could. That might be what they want to do. Because they might not have any other green cards in hand. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm just going to loot here.
Yep. Probably just discarding 2 lands.
Yeah, because we can pick them up with Ren anyway, right? Like
exactly. All right.
We got a crab. That can draw us a card.
That's true.
That's awesome.
Dose! 2 crabs.
I keep getting Scalding Tarn because I like this card.
Yeah, I mean, you can get the island here if you want.
Hard evidence, right?
Yeah, you can just play 1 and or both.
So there's no reason not to play both of them then, right? Because
I don't think so. So you can get the island or the Scalding Tarn here because you already have 3 mountains in play.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can sack one of them and try to hit a Flusterstorm if you need to. So the reason would have been if you were like really paranoid about preserving your treasure, but you don't need to be because you have multiple clues and multiple crabs at this point.
Mm-hmm. We got a lot of ways to get Velomacus or
right.
Emrakul into play.
Mm-hmm. Nice thing about Velomacus is, and always has been though, it's only 7 CMC. So if you ever draw one, you can actually cast them in a reasonable chunk of games.
Oh, cool. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I mean, we are just hitting our land drops forever, so...
Right. What was Yertle, the turtle's name?
Yadaro?
Yadaro. Much like Yadaro, it just comes down for 7 mana and starts bricking people, and they're like, oh, yeah.
They're like, I was not prepared for this.
I can't Fatal Push that at all.
Here's the real question. Do we attack with the crabs?
I would attack with 1. I always like to assert dominance. Crab attack.
It's like this one's the aggressive of the twins. This one's the
he's on the top, so yeah.
And this one's Andy, this one's Judith.
Well, I'm looking at stickers.
Oh, you're not watching the stream? Never mind. I made that reference to no one then.
I mean, she heard it.
She did hear it, but she didn't seem impressed. So I failed. Relic. That's a weird one. Does that even do anything against us, or are they just cycling?
I mean, it technically messes with your Ren and 6, right? But whatever.
I mean, it would.
They could wipe out your graveyard if you get to the retrace part of the game. But most likely, they're just going to cycle it end of turn to try to get out of the situation they're in.
Mm-hmm.
A 5-mana X4 used to be the most impossible thing to answer. Yeah, then Unholy Heat. Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Alright, I guess they're not doing much.
I would guess not.
So let's just crack these clues. I love this card.
Yeah, Hard Evidence is gravy.
Who would have thought?
I know. Blue Thraben Inspector. It's all we ever wanted and more. Yikes.
Okay, so I'm just...
you can go ahead and make a dwarf with this one if you want.
Yeah, we can start beating down.
Yep. I would crack a clue before combat, because it is possible we hit creativity. We could creativity X1. Yeah, we can.
To do that, I'm just going to tap the lands that make the least amount of mana.
Nope. Prismatic Command is fine, though. And then crack him for 0 with Crably.
Yeah. No, I already said Zach. This one's Andy.
Oh, sorry.
There's a reason.
I call my crabs Crably.
Well,
or
imagine how humiliating it would be to be named humanly.
That's true. That's true. No, Citizen Sniffs is my go-to.
That's a pretty good one. Howl C, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Man.
Yeah, Alpha had the crazy Psycho sideboard with the Stone Rain Dragon.
Stone Rain Dragon?
Obsidian Charmaw. The Great Stone Rain
I love
Dragon.
that card. I wish it saw more play.
Well, it was 4x in Wafo's deck, which he won the challenge with, so...
No kidding. Oh, that's dirty.
Yeah, and when I played his list, I was like, so we board out Velomacus and Emrakul, and we creativity into multiple Stone Rains against Tron, right?
I think that would be the play, yeah.
That's what I did. We did lose only the Tron matchup, but it was we did go to 3 games on it, so...
So we're just going to
try
ultimate Ren in 6 next turn, right?
That is exactly what you're going to do, yeah.
Larry X Punchworthy.
You might be shattering this map at end of turn, too.
Shatter map I like that more than making a treasure.
Well, you just don't need to make a treasure at this point because you've already got 7 mana if you draw Velomacus.
You just got like infinite lands at this point.
You sure do. The old version, so the other thing about the classic version of this deck is that it played 3 or 4 remands main, and those were really good in these matchups. But remand is generally terrible in this metagame, so it's kind of
lots of
tough
sell.
Yeah.
Let's just get rid of these.
Teferi's a card draw.
Yeah.
He's a redraw, so...
Can you imagine if we drew Time Warp here? Holy cow!
We do Time Warp there. Just kill him.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
over.
Watch me mess this up somehow.
No, okay, so just take it slow.
Okay.
So get the Dwarf here, right? Now, ult the Ren 6.
Yep. Breathe
Then
through
Time Warp yourself.
Breathe through my nose.
Yep. I'm a mouth breather. I'm not afraid to say it. I don't know what it was when I was growing up.
I am too, which is why I'm trying to breathe through my nose.
I don't know if I had like a problem with my sinuses or something when I was growing up. I have no idea, but I found it very uncomfortable to breathe through my nose. Like I wasn't getting enough air. I was also overweight when I was a kid, so maybe that was part of it too. But anyway, so
I don't know why I'm a mouth breather, but I know I am one.
Yep. I mean, all I'm saying is like I have some reasons that I can explain, but like,
yeah, of course.
This is funny because when I was a teenager, at some point, someone was like, said like, "Oh yeah, mouth breather is an insult," and I was like, "Wait, what? Why?" Like I've always done that, but I didn't know I was meant to be insulted by my own existence.
I mean, there's no correlation between breathing through your mouth and intelligence. People just
I know, but it's obviously it's just one of those things that's just like. Okay,
this
opponent.
Doesn't matter.
But I don't think you understand the game you've found yourself in here, opponent. That is irrelevant.
They don't know. They'd have to like surgical our Time Warp here.
Yep. So,
alright, it's very important we only attack with the aggressive crab.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And in these moments, deck creator Freak You Nasty enjoys... No, is it Freak or is it Phoenix? One of the people who plays the deck loves to give them a good hi-ho. Hi-ho!
Well, they are dwarfs.
Yeah, dwarves are going to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi-ho. Alright, first thing you do each turn. You're going to Time Warp, target yourself out of the graveyard.
Okay.
Discard a land, pick up a land. Then you can do whatever you want.
Anything I want?
Be home by 11.
Okay.
No diggy hole. I heard that. I did not care for it. It's hi-ho from...
Hi-ho indeed.
It's hi-ho from Snow White and the Seven Dwarves Are Bust.
Judith will hold down the fort.
That's right. You have an extra land in play, so you could put another dwarf in if they're making you...
if they're making me play it out, I'll try and kill them quickly.
Yeah, but you could have made the dwarf there to do that.
Oh, fair.
It's okay.
I forgot that it was an extra turn.
Yeah, no worries.
I almost targeted them.
Yes, I saw that.
That's how nervous
it's okay.
I am.
You would have had the option to you would have had the option to fix it while you were before you paid the cost.
Okay.
Yep, just go for it. You're good.
Sorry if I'm being so timid here.
No. You're gonna have more than enough time for game 3. Just do it right. Get the practice.
Thank
you,
opponent, for being merciful.
Thank you on Jacob's poor stress.
Just run it back,
did we
right?
see? Well, the question is, did we see anything in that game that made you want to change any sideboard choices? Like,
I mean,
probably
Ether
not.
Gust over Prismatic Ending seems okay, but I'm not
sure. I mean, Ending is better against the turn 1 map. Yeah. So what I would do is, if you think you want some Aether Gusts, board in, I would say like 3 of them, and take out like 1 Hard Evidence, 1 Teferi, and 1 Here. Because, like, I think those cards are, like, you don't need as many as you have in the main deck. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, Prismatic Ending on 1 is, like, a big deal. If they have a map.
What do you think of this hand? I think it's pretty bad.
It's basically already a mult of 5.
Yeah.
So you just send it. It's no problem. This is much better.
Yeah.
Ship the Emrakul, good to go.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but it's good to go.
It's got Ren and 6, which I like quite a bit.
It's got Ren and 6, Flusterstorm, Hard Evidence, so hopefully the Flusterstorm does something. In this hand, you have
tapped,
4...
right?
You could, but here's the thing. I want to play the fetch land on one because we might need to Flusterstorm a
Right.
Silver Scry.
That makes sense.
And by the time we play Ren and 6, then the mine will just hang out in our hand until it's time.
Alrighty, that's it then.
Yep. The first hand would have been just as bad against this as this hand is. Okay, so creativity makes this like we might actually steal this game.
That's pretty.
It depends on if they have like very redundant Tron or not.
Show me basic forest.
Yeah.
Show me Picard's flute.
Second power plant, also acceptable.
Blast zone. I don't even care.
That's right.
And what have you. Alright, so...
Alright. Wait, what?
They
got the Natty Tron? I know, but this means they probably have the natural Tron. I mean, you'll fluster this.
Yeah,
but still
for sure.
Probably means they have the natural Tron.
Yeah, they're probably just Ancient Stirrings for a threat, right? So...
Could be.
Flusterstorm?
Yep, so yeah, Steam Vents Flusterstorm, next turn you go Stomping Around Ren and 6. The nice thing here is we got a very clear game ahead of us. Yeah. We don't know if we're going to win or we're going to lose, but at least it's obvious what we're going to do.
It's in God's hands now.
That's right. Oh, Keranos, be kind to your son.
Please. I know I don't play you in any of my decks, but I think you're a righteous dude.
He is a righteous dude.
Yeah.
Just, you know,
his
not
belt buckle
playable.
is a fucking ox head. Like, that's awesome.
Ooh. I wonder if it's an Ox of Agonis head.
It might be.
Yep.
Stomping Grounds.
Yep. And this is one of those situations where, like, depending on their payoff, we actually might still be able to.
Yeah, if they like play Worm Coil Engine or something here, we just throw a crab.
We can just go over the top of them. Yeah. Well, they're yeah.
Bloodstain Mire can stay in the graveyard.
Nobody loves you, Bloodstain Mire.
Get less gross art, Bloodstain Mire.
The original one is gorgeous. They had Natty Tron, right? Show us.
Otherwise, they would.
I mean, yeah, of course. I'm just. It had to be.
Don't play Karn.
No.
Don't do it. Just play Worm Coil. You know you want to.
Well, if it was Karn, it would have happened faster, right? Yeah. I mean, this is obviously not the fastest Green Tron player in the world, but maybe it is still. No, Ballista?
Okay.
It's a Ballista. That's fine.
Well, I guess we're
so as long as the last card in their hand is an Ulamog.
Oh man, that'd be brutal. But they would have to have like Urza's Tower, right?
Yeah, that's true. Because if they fetch it this turn, then
hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So you can
play
the fetch land. I mean, you don't have to crack it. That's the thing, because you have blue and red open right now.
Yeah.
So you can just play Hard Evidence, play Alpine Moon, pick up the Bloodstain Mire, and pass the turn.
Then I have to pick up the Bloodstain Mire. Fine.
Okay, I know, but like
I know.
This way, it looks like you have mana open, and you'll be able to fetch your Triome without looking more defenseless.
Yeah.
So one card in their hand can't be Force of Vigor. It could be Wilt, but if they have to Wilt on their turn, then they lose a bunch of mana. So good job drawing the best possible.
Yeah, no kidding. We got stuff we could actually cast, and we can still Prismatic Ending the Walking Ballista somewhere.
Yep, Prismatic Ending or Prismari Command.
Yeah,
lots of great ways.
We can target the clue token if we want to X1.
Correct.
For some reason, and then they just can't do anything about it.
Yep.
Cool.
Pretty good.
Cool beans. This deck does seem powerful.
It definitely is. Yeah, definitely powerful.
You're gonna die a noble death, Crab. This one's just Crab. The other two were named. This one's by itself.
That's because before we created this Crab, we knew it was going to be food, so we didn't want to get attached to it.
Yeah, exactly. We only name things that we want to get attached to. That's just human
Yeah,
nature.
so in this deck, I will agree with Shauna that X1 is not a great thing because you're going to get a 50-50 shot at Emrakul or Velomacus.
Yeah,
and
we
if
want
they
X2.
just if they just turn around and play Karn and then eat your Emrakul, that's good.
And if they want to unload Walking Ballista on Ren and 6, that's fine for us too.
Yep.
Because Ren did its job. Man, I can't believe this. Normally I feel so defenseless when I play Blue Moon and they have Natural Tron, but now it's just like, okay, fine.
Well, if you ever wanted to, continue the Jacob Comiskey spirit, you could always test Alpine Moon in Blue Moon instead of Blood Moon and be like, we're playing the new moon. We're getting with all those that zoomer energy. And yeah, so they got Blast Zone here, which means they are going to clear your Blood Moon or your Alpine Moon next turn. But that means you get to Creativity X2 as long as you have a second target that's usable. So hopefully we find a way to generate that. For now, what are they attacking?
The Ren and 6. I just let this hit, right?
Yeah, you just let it hit. I mean, if they kill the Ren 6, you're more happy than anything else.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then when you Creativity X2, you can target the crab and the clue, and killing the crab takes their entire Walking Ballista at that point. Oh, perfect. Now they can't even kill the crab, so they're walking themselves into they're tying the noose right now for themselves. By being greedy about their Ren and 6, they're going to lose the game.
Yeah. like Ren drew cards, it's fine.
Exactly.
Just get a
grab
Triumph
Jeskai Triumph.
Okay.
Raugrin.
These names, I swear.
I know. Well, they're from Ikoria. I would just play Dwarven Mine here.
Yeah.
Yep. Play Dwarven Mine, pass the turn, and we should be in the clear. We'll see.
Yeah, I can't think of a way for them to get out of this unless we, turbo whiff on Velomacus.
Well, I mean, it's not even turbo. There's only 4 Time Warps in the deck, and there will be 44 cards at that point. Do you have MTG Bot in your chat?
I do, but it's been obstinate lately.
Oh, hold on. Well, let's just see if we can do it. So we're going to have 44. We have 7 looks, 4 Time Warps, and we only need 1 hit. It's going to be a 51.34% chance.
Cool.
Which is not great, but we also still have an Emrakul and a Velomacus, and most things in their deck,
both of those.
They can't solve both of them unless they have specifically O-Stone. So we're going to be in a good spot. They can't even attack. They can't even attack with Walking Ballista here.
Attack or crab.
Do not crack the clue.
I'm not gonna. Don't worry.
I'm just. I would be tempted to because it's like it's a habit.
That is something I would do out of nervousness at this point.
Right. You just be like, well, I have to have the card.
Yeah, I love drawing cards. Starts foaming.
So fetch a dwarf and then X2 on the clue and the crab and Godspeed, little doodle.
Little doodle, let's summon the noodle.
Oh, we're going to 43 cards, so the odds are actually going to be slightly higher than I was counting for, which is good.
Okay, let's find something good along the way.
Bang! Give me the twofer. Come on now, deck. Better odds than calibrated blast decks. We'll see. We'll see.
Wow. Okay. This is a cool feeling, I'm not gonna lie.
The original Velomacus deck was great because, the first one was a 70% chance, and then once you started riding that high with the dragon, where you're like, okay, we need another Time Warp. We got it! We need another Time Warp. We got it!
Now I'm just attacking with Velomacus, right?
That's what you do.
Okay.
Hit a Time Warp, the game is over. If you don't hit a Time Warp, it might be. Come on, baby.
I hope I get to cast hard evidence.
We missed.
Look at the cards.
Yep, you have to look at the cards. All right, you do get a Prismari command here, so you can go draw 2, discard 2, and create a treasure, most likely, would be my...
Is there any merit in killing the Walking Ballista?
I don't think so. So they're going to crack the blast zone. They're going to have access to about 8 mana. They could have more. So we don't have any way to deal with Ulamog. That's the card that kills us. Fluster Storm is just about the best draw in the deck there, though. Yeah, you can just ditch 2 lands. It's fine.
Yeah, we don't need more lands.
Nope. So again, O-Stone or Ulamog are the only things that beat us here. And Ulamog, they would need another Tron land to cast. Not impossible, but considering we have basically no real sideboards for Tron, like we've done pretty well to get this far.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think blowing up the Bliss is worth anything, Last God. Like, if they unlock their Tron and they crank Ballista twice, it's like, K, kill you.
I did like making the treasure there. And I did like...
Oh, no, making the treasure
so
and looting was, I think, 100% the correct line.
I think so.
I don't think there was any other option. Yeah. So Ugin doesn't beat us because Emrakul stays.
It has to be O-Stone.
It has to be O-Stone or Ulamog. It's not Ulamog. So...
Or bridge. Wait.
This can get them a bridge. There's nothing we can do to stop that.
Butts.
All right, forgot about this guy. But we have multiple draws out of this situation.
Yeah, like Indomitable Creativity is one of
Creativity, Prismari Command, Prismatic Ending, and here he gets to draw us closer to those things too.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they could get
Ending. We can...
Oh, yeah. We just used our command? Well, that was the one that we got for free off of Velomacus.
That's one of them, right? Like, we have 3 more.
Yep.
I believe.
Oh, we have a ton of outs from here. A ton. That is not one, though. Okay. So we play Nahiri, loot one of these Aether Gusts away. Yeah, the real problem will be that they can wish for Sunring Titan and blow up most of our lands. It doesn't stop us from winning, though. That's the thing, we could still draw out.
We can attack.
Yeah, why does Nahiri say tapped? I know.
We can attack Karn with our dwarves.
With the dwarves?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they'll block and then kill the other one, but it's fine. We get rid of the Walking Ballista that way, so that's not nothing.
Do we play this?
I would hold it to cycle next turn because then if we find the okay, go for the attack first. Let me figure it out because if you play that. It gets destroyed, then you get to keep... Yeah, you do play it. Because if they do get Sundering Titan...
Which they're not?
Wait, what?
They didn't.
They must have a plan, but play it anyway.
Okay.
They must have a plan, but I don't know what it is, and I don't want to know. Hopefully we don't have to find out.
I'm scared and confused.
Yeah, right?
I guess they could play Ulamog.
Want to lose the Ballista, I guess. Yeah, they can play Ulamog now. If they have it, then we're toast. We're not going to be beating that. 5, 6, 7.
Don't you tap more than 7?
Karn. No, it's Karn.
Okay, fine. We can beat a Karn.
Yep. In theory.
Oh, they get rid of Nahiri. Neat.
Oh, that's fine. That makes sense from their perspective. They still have 1 card in hand, so you can theoretically attack the Karn again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, getting the hit near here is smart, of course, because now we have...
Gonna block with the map.
I mean, fair.
Yeah.
Come on, deck. Give us one. We've got so many outs.
We got
so many. It's ludicrous.
I feel like we're drawing land here.
Could be. Could be.
Moto's doing that thing where it... Explore!
Right?
Wait.
Yep, basically.
Hang on. Is there any merit to attacking before the Time Warp?
Yeah, if you're planning on attacking, do it before the Time Warp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Attack Karn the Great Creator.
The Time Warp is just a redraw, but it's fine.
It's a good redraw.
It's a 0 mana redraw.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty gas.
They're cracking.
No, they want to block. They just didn't go to the right step yet.
Okay.
That's what happened. They're gonna block and then sack.
That's a cool play. I respect that.
Yeah. Wait, they shouldn't be able to do this. They have a Karn in play.
No,
Can't they
it
not
only
activate
shuts off
artifact? No,
theirs.
I know. It's just,
Oh,
it's just
okay.
it's an older joke.
Our opponent has 6 minutes left on clock.
Yeah, they're playing Tron.
There's this tower.
Gets another tower.
Okay.
It
Karn
is so
goes
much
to
mana.
1. We get to
Time
time warp.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm really excited.
Come on, baby. Give me this sweet Prismari command so we get to go shock your Karn, shatter your bridge, kill
I
your
love
dreams.
that.
Come on. There's so many draws. Yep. That's it. We win.
Woo! Okay.
So shatter and shock is there you go. You can't shatter a Karn, even though it looks like you should be able to.
I would love to shatter a Karn.
I know. Well, someday you're gonna play liquid metal coating and
And turn their
or
Karn
something.
into an artifact, which he obviously is already.
Right.
Like,
Yep. And now we go combat. I don't know. Attack with all on them. Bye, furry chicken. Trigger.
look at the cards.
Nope. Please find a time warp.
I would love
Please
to
find a
warp.
time warp.
Even
Oh, man.
better. Hard
crab?
evidence.
Yeah, that's right. Make a crab.
Get over here, crab.
You deserve to be on the winning team.
Yep. Okay, opponents being a Chad and letting us have the crab see the victory.
Smash them for 21.
Wow, this is powerful.
Yeah, man. I mean, it is post hoc, but they just sack it in response. I mean, it's not. They're
Jacob
also.
is
I
definitely
love
a
that
man
they
of
go through
culture.
the
Thank you.
rigmarole of sacking things. It's like you're dead. You're dead. You're just dead. You've died.
Yay. Sorry, I'm not looking too much at chat. I'm, like, in the tunnel. But I appreciate that you're all here, watching me take my first steps into this brave new world.
So many constructs and hammers and artifact lands around. Is that steel and artifact merfolk good yet? Yeah, merfolk skydiver, I think it's just called.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's probably all right. The fact that it's a 3 CMC 2/1 is a little rough. Stealing constructs when you are not yourself an artifact deck is not the greatest.
Right.
It's probably an okay sideboard card. The problem is I don't know there's a lot of blue decks that really want that card.
We're playing against elementals, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
I think this is fine,
well,
right?
there's a few more Kahira decks now. Yeah, this hand is fine. Being on the draw is like less than great. But like they're pretty slow over the first couple turns. You get to Ren and 6 ping, probably one of their 1/1s on turn 2. Then you get to Teferi Top. Yeah, this hand is fine as long as you respect the fact that Velomacus is in your hand. So when we creativity, we're getting only Emrakul, and then we're probably just going to cast a Velomacus later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can deal with that.
Yeah. Again, like I'm not writing this hand any love letters, but it's not bad. In
I
the
just
dark,
don't know how aggressively
totally
this
fine.
deck wants to mulligan, right? So.
Usually fairly aggressively, but the thing is, this is a hand where I look at it and I go, this hand has a plan. And if it has a plan, it's probably a pretty good keep.
We got
no matter.
Prismatic Ending, which is decent.
Yep. It looks like it might actually be Jeskai control or Blue Eye control. I know it's a Steam Vents, but like Hira Steam Vents, that's no sense makery.
Yeah.
It could be Elementals that's playing Steam Vents.
What am I looking at?
Okay. It can't be boil proof. No, well, it wouldn't even be boil proof. It's just when I see reflecting pool and a blue red land, I think boil proof.
Is it Regarian
What?
Triumph or
Raugrin, yeah,
okay?
Raugrin, not Criteria. It didn't take it. Oh, it did. Just lagged.
Okay. We just
And
slam
then,
a
yeah.
Ren in 6 here, though.
Yeah,
right?
you just slam a Ren in 6 here. If they have counterspell, they have counterspell. You have a second Ren in 6 anyway. You want to play multiple Ren in 6s into these counterspells before you play your Teferi, and then they cry.
I know I would.
Assuming that they're on red, blue, X. Okay. I have no idea what we could be up against. It can't be Cascade.
It's exciting.
I have no idea. They haven't done anything yet, so like, okay. This is Skelemental deck that plays pool. Yeah, it could be Elementals, but like, it's just so unlikely with the lands we've seen so far. Well, we can't get Skelemental here. If this is just,
Right.
yeah, that's
it
fine.
It is Elementals.
It is.
So
you can
ping
that and like, play Teferi and plus it. Yeah.
All right.
Because you want Teferi to go to 5 loyalty in case they have Fury.
That makes sense.
What did they keep? It's Elementals. Like, they probably have Solitudes and Furies rotting in their hand that they're like, do I want to pitch this? Yeah, there's the Fury.
Okay, so now
we don't get to
play second.
Probably
Ren in
you.
6.
Yeah. That's what you're gonna do. Yeah, it's not wrong for them to keep a hand that is full of creature interaction because that is normally how you're gonna die in the early stages of games.
Another Tef. Interesting.
Yep. I still think Ren and 6 ping is what we want.
Yeah.
Especially while they're tapped down, they can't ephemerate the Risen Reef.
That'd be savage.
Yep.
Okay.
If they Skelemental us, we just get to discard 2 lands. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
White and green Grand Seal.
You get the second Triumph here too, right?
Yep, if you want to. You can always keep it in the deck in case you want to draw it and start cycling it. It's very, very mana taxing, and I have never really made particularly great use of it, but like people tell me to do it all the time, and I'm always like, yeah, I guess. All right, if they have Omnath, fetch land, 8 million plays, that's going to be
really bad.
a whole situation. But they do.
Okay.
But I mean, there's only so much you can do, and we can Teferi them back on tempo. You can also Prismatic ending their Omnath this turn.
True.
Yeah,
that is worth considering.
Play the full 4 colors. Maybe it's just a Solitude, a very sad Solitude.
I mean, if they cast Solitude here, oh.
Okay, so now we can't Prismatic ending the Omnath.
No.
We can tap it though.
Yeah.
They're harbingering. All right. What do you want? What are you fetching upon? So they're on like a non-stock list because the stock lists don't play Mariner anymore. I mean, there's I think there's the 2 lists now. There's the one that doesn't play any 2-drops, and there's the one that does.
So
they got Risen Reef? Yeah, that makes sense.
We know they're drawing Risen Reef, so if we Indomitable next turn, if we happen to draw it, do we just make them have Solitude?
Yeah, probably. They only have 2 cards in hand. It's fairly unlikely.
Like
the biggest problem though is that
Ephemerate, right? Like,
yeah, most likely
it's the 1 planes.
Yeah, but this turn, what you can do is, can you? You could. Well, we'll see what you draw.
Land.
So you could play Teferi, bounce the Mariner, pay the 1 to do it, and then use Ren and 6 to ping the Flamekin Harbinger.
Yeah, assuming they don't have Ephemerate.
Well, you play the Teferi first.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Yeah, that's Teferi is a very rude boy.
Because they can't interact.
Hold on. Yeah, this works. You can play the Teferi, and then fetch out a Dwarf to block for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you use the mine to pay for the Mariner trigger. Yeah, you're good. You can play the Teferi. Sorry.
Okay.
I just needed to make sure. I needed to make sure we didn't make a goof.
And blue.
Yeah. So fetch now.
Fetch.
I mean,
Now
you can fetch
ephemerate.
now or you can fetch after. I mean, it's either one. But now that the Teferi resolved, there is no ephemerates.
God, I forgot how fun this card was.
Oh, very. So send back the Mariner, pay the 1. Gotta pay the tax man.
I'm just gonna tap this.
Yeah, you do it any way you like. Whatever way makes you more comfortable.
I'm just cautious of potential Moto bugs.
Yep, for sure. This does mean they're going to get to play Risen Reef into Mariner this turn, but what we're doing is just trying to buy time to either hardcast Velomacus or find a creativity for
I would
Emrakul.
love to hardcast Velomacus. I
Potentially
think we're on the fast
with
track to do that.
Yep, potentially with if we can get to a point where we can plus a Teferi, pass the turn to them, and at their end step put in an Emrakul, they can't Solitude. They just will lose. So instant speed creativity is one of the best ways to win these matches. It's not always possible, but it is one of the best ways to do it.
Okay, well, we got the fetch lands, so we can maybe make that happen.
I mean, we've got tons of gas. I mean, we're good to go, right? Like we're
competing with their value here.
Yep, so far. They can go super crazy bananas, not so like out of nowhere sometimes though. Like,
well, this dwarf's dying for the cause, right?
I have blocked with so many dwarves, and it is one of my favorite things about this deck. Is just like every turn for a few turns in a row, you're just like, here's another one. Here's the third one. And the best thing is when they like fatal push or bolt it. You're like, yep, that's free real estate,
card
baby.
Advantage.
There's a pool in the back.
Okay, wow, this... I guess it's all about mindset when playing this deck, because they played like Risen Wreath and Omnath and generated all this value, but we're still in it. So you just gotta not give up. You gotta be scrappy.
The thing not to get worried about with this deck is, one, you can outvalue almost anyone, and two, you can win the game out of nowhere. So like,
that's a good combination. No,
it's just. But they can't ephemerate, but they might think that they can.
Okay.
Okay, poor opponent. So I kind of want to main phase shock the Risen Reef and make a treasure or rummage.
We're not pinging it with Ren 6 because we want to just
because it will kill the Ren 6.
Well,
like, I'd rather keep
Tef
the Ren 6
first of all.
Yeah, you uptick Tef, and upticking Tef means you have a hard evidence during their attack
or a prismatic ending.
Sure. The thing is, I think you pick up the Scalding Tarn out of your graveyard with Ren 6, and I think you just play it. And then I'm pretty sure what I want to do is just shock Risen Reef plus make a treasure. Okay. It could be loot. They're both okay. Making the treasure means you can cast Velomacus next turn.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to do.
Yeah, because that means if we flip into a Time Warp, we probably win the game on the spot. You don't need to be too precious about your color tapping here, because what you're playing on the turn is hard evidence and a dwarf, right? And you're making a treasure, so if we run into desperation time and we need to prismatic ending like a Skelemental, we can still do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have the ability to make a dwarf, and you have the ability to do hard evidence and or prismatic ending.
And then next turn we just slam Velomacus, assuming we don't use the treasure.
That's the plan.
What are they going to do about this crab? Nothing.
Nothing.
This crab's also going to die for the cause. It's kind of sad.
Grand Seal, that's a really good way to think about it. It's Jeskai Splinter Twin, except if you didn't have tempo elements and you had these planeswalkers that are just like gross value engines.
And no
so
counter spells.
Well, not. I mean, there have been many versions of these decks that play counter spells.
It's probably
just not this
optimal though.
Some of them it's correct to do so. When you aren't playing Velomacus, you get 4 free slots because then you're not playing any Time Warps. I would say just fetch the dwarf. Oh, okay, it's fine.
Oh, or we can fetch the dwarf, right?
Yeah, you can still fetch the dwarf. Fetching the dwarf is still a legal play.
I think I want to fetch the dwarf and block with the dwarf because
you definitely do.
Krabby's.
You understand why they didn't ban Ren 6, but they probably should. And what do you base that on? I mean, I understand that it's like a very powerful 2-mana play, but it's very reasonable in this current modern. In the current modern, Ren 6 is like nowhere near close to the banning argument. I've never seen anyone advocate for banning Ren 6 that really kind of was hooked into what's going on.
Man, I can't wait to look at the cards.
Yeah. The thing about Ren 6 is like Ren 6's value is predicated on things like either Urza Saga or Indomitable Creativity, or like you can't play Ren 6 in most decks and just be great. Like it does need support. That said, Ren 6 on the play against a control deck is the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, no kidding.
They are always upsetty.
Okay, they're generating 1 red mana here.
Red, white. I don't know.
Are they gonna Fury our Planeswalkers or like?
Not with red mana.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
confused.
Another Fury would be really bad, but
endurance
hardcast.
We don't
that's,
care.
That's fine. I mean, if they endurance you, it is going to make it slightly less likely that you hit the time warp when you play Velomacus next turn. But
Yeah,
like,
because these are back.
That's.
In our
I mean,
deck, but...
yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine. I think they did it just to shut off your Ren 6 value.
Well, we can just fetch again.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying they were trying to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they succeeded. I'm saying they were trying. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you just jam Velomacus here and swing.
Just make a dwarf?
Yep, I think so. Yeah, don't activate your Planeswalkers until after the swing, because you want to see... you can plus Ren 6 to pick up the land in case you get a Prismari command.
Yeah, that could be useful.
Yeah, well, you want something to rummage away. And we're gonna remember that they have an ancient Encendled Mariner for anything that we want to cast that targets their creatures. Yep, we're definitely gonna remember. I know I am. In fact, I've never forgotten about a card like that. Nope, not me.
Me neither.
I've never set up a line and had Thalia wreck me.
All right, I guess Prismari.
There's the Prismari command. Yep.
So we're gonna target Prismari command and make a treasure, right?
Yep, that's exactly it.
Okay.
And then on second main phase, you plus Teferi, and then you'll be done for the turn.
Okay, make a treasure.
Yep. Obviously not ideal, but you know.
Guess we discard Island Secret.
Yeah, they're not going to Blood Moon. Not this deck. They lose to Blood Moon. They won't be playing it. Yeah, you're good.
That was a fun sound, Hannah.
That's what I'm known for.
Fun sounds? I agree.
Make sure you plus the Teferi.
Yes.
Just because I would probably miss it if I was talking to other people at the same time. All right, so let's see what they can do here.
I'm
assuming there'll be a Solitude.
But
yeah, I'm assuming there will be a Solitude, but that's okay.
Yeah,
like,
we gained 5 life. That sounds like insane value.
Yeah, absolutely. They do still have a Risen Reef in their hand, right?
I believe so.
There's 2 of them that are dead. Oh, this is just Hardcast Solitude, I think. Yep, that's fine. So they'll be able to kill one of your Planeswalkers here if they want to. That's, again, fine. You're going to let them kill Ren 6 because you have the backup.
Okay. They're just all attacking Tef.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm not going to block.
Yeah, you've got a replacement, so you're good. Right, I forgot they had the line of just attack them all on the one. Duh, Zach. Never learned to do creature combat. It's not my fault.
Now,
Spells
if we
are so much more fun.
Draw Indomitable Creativity, we just X1, right? Because there's no more creatures left in our deck. Play Teferi, right?
Yep. Although, do we have a plan to protect it? Like, we have one more dwarf, and we have a hard evidence, and we have a prismatic ending. We're gonna have one. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. We're going to have 5, so we can have a hard evidence plus prismatic ending for 3, but we have to pay a tax on prismatic ending, so it's really okay. Yeah, you can play it. You can play it.
I'm just gonna pick up the island.
Yep. And then just play a fetch land this turn. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do it before you play Tef. It's fine. You can play the Tef, but.
Okay, so white, blue, that.
Oh,
I
actually,
want a
we're plussing the
bouncy
TEF to
here?
play. Well, so if you want to bounce something, you have to pay a tax on it,
Mm-hmm.
and you won't be able to instant speed hard evidence. I mean, there's nothing on their board that's really worth bouncing particularly.
Yeah, I don't think so
Um,
either.
Bouncing Omnath is kind of sketch because if they hit a fetch land off the redraw when they replay it, that's
Then
bad.
they just get to go nutso again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure plussing Teferi is the best play here. And then it actually might be better to play... No, you're just going to have to... Hold on. If we play the island and we play... Yeah, no matter what, we have to sack the treasure this turn. So you can play the island or the Scalding Tarn, and either way we end up having to sack the treasure, which is fine.
Okay, I'm gonna play the island.
Yeah. Yep.
Just pass the turn.
Yep.
Because I did uptick Renin 6. We're just gonna leave the boys back.
Yep.
We could hard cast Emrakul at some point.
It's
1, 2,
very
3,
difficult in
4,
this deck. There's
5,
only 12
6,
mana
7.
producing lands, so you
Oh,
need
right.
3 treasures.
Oh, okay.
So it's not impossible. Compared to most decks, at least, it's not impossible.
It's just improbable.
But yes, it's just very improbable. I've never done it. I've cast Kozilek in these decks a bunch of times, the 10
And
one.
our game plan is to just Prismatic ending the Mariner, right?
Yep. Yeah, I
and
think
this
so.
is all instants or sorceries? No, this is all sorceries I can cast. So I can also cast Hard Evidence.
Right, so you use the treasure and one of the Dwarven Mines to cast the ending on the Mariner, and then use the other mine to pay for the tax.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what is this? Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so we're paying 3 total, and we can either crack the clue or play another Hard Evidence after that.
Yep.
One of those two.
Well, attackers, we want to... Oh, okay, they get to tutor whatever they want here. That's scary.
If they stack it. Are they gonna Solitude our Crab? Is that what they're planning on?
Or Fury.
Fury.
Yeah,
okay.
Fury.
Well, we could just make another Crab depending on their attacks.
Yep.
Yeah, they're getting a lot.
Yeah, they might try to
here.
kill both your planeswalkers here. We'll see what happens. Yeah, Fury's fine. I mean, there's nothing we can do to stop it. The only thing that you could do in response is like kill the Risen Reef, but I still think you want to get the crab. The new crab.
All right, goodbye, Ren.
They're killing Renin 6. Wild.
Okay.
Very strange. This is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we are very light on ways out of this game at this point, but not out. So
We gotta protect Tef here, though, right? Because they obviously
100%.
ephemerate.
The only way we're gonna win this game is we have to find a creativity within the sort of next turn cycle and be able to instant speed it. And even then, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Because they're at 16, and they have a lot of permanents. So it's just been a tough game, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we haven't found a creativity, and when we did have the Velomacus, we missed on the time warp.
If we hit that time warp, the game would have been over.
Yep.
I'm like almost
100%. Well, almost 100%. It would have been hugely
It would have
swung
been
in our
very
advantage.
close to over.
Yeah. Let's see what they got.
They're
here.
gonna put
If it's a Solitude, we're probably just dunsy. Kahira actually would be... Yeah, this is going to be problematic. Their board is going to get real
Well,
swole.
Teflon will be at 1, right? If we block all of them.
I think so. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, let them set up their attack. They might get greedy about it. We'll see. Who knows?
First thing we're doing is just getting rid of Mariner, right?
Yeah. Yes. So white and yeah, exactly.
Definitely
that.
don't
Good.
want to tap blue.
Yeah, you're good. right, opponent.
Here comes Flash Crab.
Flash crab, dangerous, most dangerous of all crabs.
Okay, so just gonna
Just
block.
There's no, yeah.
New crab gets to stick around.
Okay. I guess, yeah, cracking the clue here is important.
We could have cracked the clue too. Yeah.
Not this turn. You couldn't, but when you untap, you will maybe need to. We'll see.
Immediately when I untap.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
You want to know what your options are? No, I mean not. You don't have to do it during upkeep. I mean, it doesn't. This is not
okay.
going to change anything really.
Okay.
I guess you could have thinned by one more. Yeah, this is probably not good enough. All right.
We just pack
so
it in,
cracking
right?
the other clue means you could. Yeah, you can just find the creativity. So go for it. I think if we don't find the creativity, we just scoop it up. This is one of those games that's just like we just can't do it. Yeah, we just can't do it.
Too much.
We tried, right? We got reasonably through the deck. The endurance on us was kind of annoying because it just reduced our chance on the time warp, and then the whole game it reduced our chances on the.
Yeah, it was surprisingly relevant.
And I think Last God pointed out that when we Velomacus attacked, they had put we had put 2 creativities on the bottom of our deck.
Oh, we did?
And we should have shuffled. I think we shuffled since then, but I'm actually not 100% sure we did. It's fine. So both Aether Gust and Mystical Dispute are reasonable against them unless they have a Cavern draw. I don't think we saw a Cavern at all that game, did we?
No, but Aether Gust, even if they have Cavern, we still get to tempo them.
Correct. Also, even if they've resolved something, which is why Aether Gust is very reasonable.
Yeah,
here.
I prefer this over Mystical Dispute.
Yep. And then the trick of the matter here is, what do you want to sideboard out? I think probably like 2 prismatic endings, or maybe even more. Prismatic ending is just not very good here because
whatever.
Most of their 1-drops you don't need to interact with. Why no prismatic Kahira kill Risen Reef this turn? It just doesn't. That just doesn't win us the game. Milk Dud. Dealing with the Risen. I actually like Nahiri in this matchup because she can set up a hasty Emrakul.
Okay, so it's another win condition. Question is, what do we take out?
Yeah, exactly. I think you can cut like 1 hard evidence. It's not great.
1 time warp.
1. No, not a time warp. I would say maybe a bolt or a Prismari commit. It's not never cut a time warp. I mean, sure it's possible, but I think I'd rather cut a bolt.
Oh,
maybe that sounds crazy to you, but
damn it. I've already submitted.
That's okay. Well. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's probably not. It's just small percentage points in my opinion. This hand is almost good enough, but it's
if it
really
wasn't
bad.
planes, we'd be set.
Exactly. This is actually probably pretty okay. It's a little nutty, but yeah, you could bottom the bolt, or I would bottom one of the Dwarven Mines and just be like, listen, we're going to draw another land. We're going to be great.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, bottom of mine, lead on a mine, pass the turn. And we're just going to go turn 3 to Fairy, hopefully turn 4 instant speed creativity. Hopefully it hits Emrakul, and we win.
Mm-hmm.
Is it likely? I mean, maybe. We'll see real quick when we try.
Okay.
All right. Fetch, Shock, Steam Vents, play Crab.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think I like that a lot. This gives us a clue to crack next turn to try to find the next land drop we're looking for too.
Thank you, Crab. You're always there for me when I need you.
I'm telling you, man, hard evidence. If it worked better with Snapcaster Mage, it would be top tier.
Mm-hmm. Man, can you imagine this at instant speed?
Yeah. I mean, we just did it. It's pretty good. Looks like Mariner might be coming in. They're just deciding whether or not they want to shock for it. They're going to. That's fine.
Okay,
yep.
We don't care.
Yep.
Crab's got this on lock.
Stay back, you. Aye.
Alright, so we get, we play Teferi here, right, and just down ticket?
Well, you could down ticket on nothing. I like upticking it in case they have a Fury.
Good point.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think Fetch, Shock, Sacred Foundry, and then uptick to Fairy. This means we can't play a Ren and 6, but the way we're planning on playing this game, we're not planning on
Yeah,
Ren
it
and 6
doesn't
for
involve Ren and 6.
now. No, not for the moment. Here's where we see the Psycho technology from them. No, okay, good. No force negation. Whew.
Cool.
I've seen it. It
believe
can be
it.
really rough.
They do run
Yeah.
lots of blue cards.
Well, they also draw a ton of cards. So they just can make up the card advantage whenever they want. Just like whenever. No problem.
They're thinking about what they want to do here.
Yeah, they have a ton of options.
Mm-hmm.
Elementals loves these slow matchups. Because they're just like deterministically gonna grind you out.
Like what happened last game. We might get lucky.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Alright, guess we just block with Crab, right?
Yep, I would.
If he dies, he dies.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what he's there for, right?
Sad but true.
Right. And the thing is, the nice thing about Teferi on 5 is they can't go Fury Ephemerate because they can't kill the Teferi with one shot.
They had nothing? So now
Okay,
we down
so-
to Fairy, right?
Yeah, down tick Teferi on either of them. And then
No, I can't because
You're
it
gonna-
fizzled the draw card trigger, right?
well you're gonna pay for it.
Oh, I am? I thought we were just digging for what's it called?
I mean, you could, but the thing is, at this point, what I think you want to do is set them back on tempo. If you hit the land, you can bolt the other one.
Good point. Yep, didn't consider that.
Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, yeah, I think I like that. Yes. And yes. Come on, deck.
Darn.
Rats. All right. Well, I mean,
Can't
24
be
land
helped.
deck. Exactly. Well, we did technically bottom a land, but like, I'm not gonna be mad about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we put our best foot forward there and didn't quite work out.
Well, ideally we draw it this turn.
Yep. You go block. Well, and then what you can do this turn is crack a clue and hopefully hit a land
Well, I
and
can't do
then
it
be able to
next turn.
bolt.
I can't do it this turn because I only have 2. Right?
Correct. No, I mean when you untap.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll see what you draw, of course, but if you don't draw a land, you can crack the clue to try to hit it. And then
Or we
if they have
could
Fury, they can
Prismari
kill a
Command
crab.
some stuff away.
Yeah, for sure.
Yo, there we go. Do we just go for it?
Okay. So what you do here is you go plus, like you get the dwarf in play,
Uh-huh.
and then you go plus onto Fairy and pass the turn.
Right, because he makes
Because you can
sorcery.
instant speed it,
Yeah.
and during combat even.
Oh, that's nutty.
And so at minimum, you're going to eat one of their creatures. On the flip side, what you could do is, depending on how this turn goes, you could just go block, and then end of turn Prismari command, untap Indomitable X2. So there's actually a bunch of different ways you can approach this, and it's up to how do you want to risk it. You have a Time Warp in your hand, which means you're unlikely to hit a Time Warp on Velomacus next turn.
Mm-hmm.
But putting Velomacus and Emrakul in off a single Indomitable gives them 2 major things they need to deal with. Or
if
you could just take
do it on their instep, like
It's a 50-50 for Emrakul or Velomacus. Although, if Velomacus hits you...
Solitude
this is
targeting
fine.
what?
One of your creatures.
Yeah, but why are they solituding a crab? Are they gonna...
Because they want to kill your Teferi this turn. Although they can't right now. They can only hit it for 2.
Should I just go...
So this
I
is
should
fine. No,
just-
this is fine. This is acceptable. Yeah.
Wow, they just let that
Yeah.
go. They didn't have Ephemerate.
Nope. So the question... Well, no, they couldn't Ephemerate. You have a Teferi.
Yeah. The effect still lasts even if Teferi dies, right?
Correct, but so I would say chump block here and then
Just
go
throw
end
the
step
clue.
and then make your decision.
Yeah.
don't like, even though they played one Solitude, don't assume they don't have a second one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or actually, what did they exile? It's almost definitely like a Mariner or a Voice.
It's Ephemerate.
Ephemerate. Makes sense.
I think I'm just going to go for it now.
You're just going to want the 50-50 roll?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 50-50 to immediately win the game. If you hit Velomacus, you can very likely win the game. So that's totally fine.
If I draw another fetch land, I can just Time Warp too.
Correct. Casting Time Warps out of your hand when you have Velomacus in play is really fun. All right, opponent. Do you feel lucky?
I don't. But let's find
In all
out.
the confusion, I lost track of how many Time Warps are in my deck. So I gotta ask you the question. Do you feel lucky?
Well, let's
grab a
thin
Steam
our
Vents
deck.
here. You need a second blue. You need to grab a second blue. Just
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I've just gotten myself with that before where I've had like a bunch of non-basics and I've been like, I definitely have 2 blue here. I did not.
And then yeah. Time Warp.
We had a Time Warp anyway. We got the double, baby. So currently we have them at dead. They're going to take 5, they're going to take 5, they're going to take 5, and then we have Bolt. So it's over. You've won the game.
Cool.
That said, before this turn ends, you can plus your Teferi, Prismari Command. Oh, you can't Prismari. Oh, you can Prismari Command. You hit a Time Warp. You don't have to. Or you could cast the second Time Warp and stack up 2 turns.
I
It's
would
up to you.
like to do that.
Because it's fun and
Yes.
novel.
Yes. I bolt people all the time. I never get to cast 2 Time Warps.
Well, if you'll remember, my friend, when I had you on the Lutri list, you were playing Time Warp in that, and it was sick.
That's true. But I don't think I ever copied it. I might have.
I think you did. I think you did almost everything with that deck. I know you definitely did Ancestral
I did a
Visions
lot
a
of
bunch of
shit.
times. Because Ancestral Visions was the... Okay, you grab a Bolt here, so now you don't need the one in your hand. By the way, if they've been tracking this game... yeah, you can pay for that. That's fine. If they have been tracking this game properly, they should know they are deterministically dead right now. Because you still have another turn, and they're about to take 5, and then they're going to take 5.
I think
So
they're
just call him
making you
Dave
do
Brubeck.
stuff.
Yep. Call him Dave Brubeck, because they just took 5.
I will cast
Crab
Hard
in
Evidence.
play.
Crab gets to see the victory.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
I should probably play a little quicker because I only have 8 minutes left.
Agreed, but I wouldn't really worry about it. Like if we lose due to time, it's like it's just one of those
Take
things.
out a Bolt,
Like,
bring in
I
Prismari.
like Bolt out for Prismari, but I mean the flood of Mariners there makes me somewhat uncomfortable. It's fine. It's fine. It probably won't happen again. Yeah, Angie Choose, if you're interested, I wrote a gigantic primer on this deck when I first picked it up. And then Mr. Raeb wrote a
brutal.
follow-up one. So there is a ton of super useful in-depth information on this deck list, and this archetype in general, if you are interested in them. Let me... No, hold on. I'm getting you the articles now. Because I didn't have them ready.
We do have the means to cast Indomitable Creativity with this hand. I kind of like this. Do you?
Yeah.
No Tef is a little sketch.
I don't like... So, Prismatic Ending is a very slow piece of interaction, and you have a Time Warp in your hand. I just...
Not feeling it.
Yeah, I'm not... You need a better plan than this, I think. That's one of those
Like
hands where I say we
Renin
can do
6,
better.
perhaps?
This hand is perfect. This hand is perfect. So you
Okay.
keep this one, you ship either Prismari Command or Gus.
Okay.
I like having at least one piece of cheap interaction, but Prismari Command is really good. It's up to you. Just whichever
get
one
rid
you
of
feel
Gus.
is going to be. Yep, that's
Just burn all their stuff. Okay. I'm going to try and make some snappier decisions here.
fine. I trust you.
Thank you. Alright, Flamekin Harbinger. That dies to Renin 6, which is neat. But mostly we're just going to be picking up lands with it.
Yep, you really don't need to worry about the.
Ooh, that's gross. That's not good.
Well, you have
We
the
can
Prismari
mute
command
that
to ship it.
away,
Yep.
which is pretty good. Should I just bolt this now?
Because you don't want to leave it in play for ephemerates.
Yeah. That's
Also,
what
the
I'm
more
saying.
that they have to hassle your planeswalkers, the more annoying
So we do
the game
bolted.
tends to get. Yeah, I think so.
Stomping ground.
Okay, so that's the original article, y'all, and here is the update from Mr. Rayab.
And then I get Steam Vents, uptick Ren and 6, put a land in my hand.
Yep, you're good.
All right.
And at this point, even if they kill your Ren and 6, you're not going to be too upset. Like, you're going to be okay.
Because we can just
Yeah,
loot
I
into
mean-
more stuff.
Feel free to read it at your leisure, Angie Juice. This is going to be Risen Reef.
Yep.
Yep.
Fury's
is
annoying here,
fine.
but it's not the end of the world.
Right. Well, they have 4 cards. It's not super likely. It's possible. I would hope to keep Ren and 6 for one more turn, but
Yeah.
if we don't,
That way,
not going to be hard.
we can make something out of the treasure when we loot next turn.
Yeah. The problem with this situation is they were way too incentivized to kill it because they're worried about us pinging the Risen Reef with it. But that's okay.
But that's not even our plan anyway, so I don't hate this.
It was nice to guarantee the land drops, but that's fine. We're here now.
Yeah.
So we just need their hand to be not completely obscene.
Do we run Basic Mountain in this list?
No.
Okay.
don't. So you can fetch probably Sacred Foundry.
Okay. So fetch Sacred Foundry puts us to 9. This is going to put us to 6.
Yeah, this is one of those games.
Oh,
Oh,
my goodness.
Yeah, that's super annoying.
Still not...
Yeah, they didn't used to play that card.
Not...
I mean, we're not out of it or anything. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they shoot this off aggressively.
Like they gotta do that.
I would think so, yeah. Maybe not.
Okay.
So, if we had a little more life total to play with, I would say you could fetch the island here and Prismari Command, because the way you're going to be generating... Like, you're going to be generating a bunch of treasures off them, but because of the Fulminator, I don't know if we can...
Yeah, we gotta
that.
get Sacred Foundry here.
I think so.
Wait, do we need Sacred Foundry? Because they could blow up our Steam Vents and then we can't Prismari Command as easily.
Well, yeah. Yeah, okay, maybe second Steam Vents is fine.
Yeah, like, we're not playing white cards for this game.
No, you're right. We don't have any white cards to play at the moment, so just ignore it. Ignore the lack of white until it's actually relevant. And we're going to have a treasure, so it's like if we draw a white card, we're fine.
What if they, like, don't crack this because they want to beat us down with it?
Because of reasons?
Yeah, because of
I
reasons,
guess.
I guess.
Sure. I mean, that's on them.
Okay,
There
they
we go.
Okay. So, loot, make a treasure.
Yep. Goodbye, Emrakul.
Goodbye,
We knew you well.
Goodbye, Ren and 6, because we're not gonna be
Oh, I
able
like
to
the
cast it.
Renans. Oh, we're going to lose all the fetches. But it still kills Riz. Oh,
We
we
don't
have
need a
the green,
second
but we have a
Indomitable,
treasure.
right?
We're gonna have a stomping ground in our graveyard to pick up,
Yep, you're right.
and
so,
we have a treasure in play. So yeah, second creativity could probably eat it here, or the dwarven mine. That's fine. Don't worry about it. So you can play Ren and 6 this turn and ping down the Risen Reef, or you could play Ren and 6, pick up the the Stomping Grounds.
It
So
really
we
depends
have
on
a
what we draw.
couple options. Yeah. I think picking up the Stomping Ground and playing it tapped is probably pretty good.
Yeah, I like that too. We drew a land though.
Yeah. The thing is, I really don't want to sack the treasure right now.
Yeah,
So I'm wondering
I
if we
don't
just
either.
played Bloodstained Mire and pass. That can't
could do
possibly be
that.
right.
We could do that.
I think not killing the Risen Reef is almost definitely wrong. So I think you play Bloodstained Mire, play Ren and 6, ping down the Risen Reef. I don't like sacking the treasure, but I think we have to.
Okay, do we have another green source to get with this though?
Yeah, the Catcher of Triumph. We'll just get it tapped. Like, we have to sack the treasure. That's the thing. You have to sack the treasure. You can't not sack the treasure this turn. You must.
Okay, so do this. Ren and 6.
Yep.
Ping Risen Reef.
Ping that,
play
pay the
Bloodstained
tax,
Mire.
and then Bloodstained Mire gets Catcher of Triumph.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, you can do it pretty much in any order you want. I just think getting the Risen Reef off the battlefield is really important right now, because otherwise we're just never, like, they're going to have too many cards and we're not going to be able to try to
I would like
steal
to pay
this
1
anywhere.
mana, yes.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So at the moment, our plan is next turn we're going to Prismari Command, and then the turn after we're going to Indomitable. And I know that's slow, but, like, that's where we're at for now. And then if we absolutely have to, we could just Indomitable X1 next turn and just, like,
Hope.
see what we get.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing about this deck, is, like, one of the things I like about it is that pretty much no matter how bad things are going, you have a chance to just, like, top deck a win, which
You
is
have
nice.
hope.
Yeah, it's like playing the Breach Emrakul deck. Like, sometimes you're just like, well, if I top deck one of 3 cards, I could win right now.
What are they getting with Flamekin here?
Probably
Solitude, right?
Yeah, I would think Solitude at this point.
Risen
Reef.
Okay, maybe they
So
already
that
have
means they
Solitude
almost
in hand.
definitely have Solitude white card in hand, yeah.
Okay. Well,
So just...
Triome.
Yep.
Petra Triome.
That's the one.
Alright, I gotta speed this up.
Well, we didn't actually need the green right now, but that's fine. We have the Prismari if we need green. So play 1 Dwarven Mine this turn. Then you go EOT Prismari Command for the treasure, and you can actually kill the Mariner if you want to.
Yeah, I think
They might have Ephemerate, so you have to be kind of careful about that. But
Okay.
and then you could go second Dwarven Mine into X2, or if you make a treasure, you can target a treasure. So lots of ways to skin these elementals.
Yes.
Assuming we don't die. Okay, that doesn't kill us. Please, Fury opponent. Please clap. Give us the Jeb Bush.
Okay.
You could
I'm killing
trade-
this, make a treasure, right?
Yeah. You have to pay the tax. Yeah, that's fine. This is fine. This is great, actually. Because, yeah, they're tapped down. They can't ephemerate anymore. So, good catch. Good catch.
Thank you. I try.
Well played.
I don't even know if I want to trade here.
I would.
Because they
I
can
wouldn't.
Solitude still, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Okay.
You can save the dwarf for next turn and maybe block something bigger. They also might freak out during main phase 2 and just, like, Fury the dwarf.
Yeah.
Or, like, Solitude it. But, like, it's just something I've seen enough people do in random spots where I'm like, okay.
Gotta focus up.
Yeah, you'll be fine. 3 minutes and 40. There's basically only 1 turn left in this game. You're going to have to cast one thing, and if it goes great, you win. And if it goes badly, you'll lose.
Okay.
Well, actually, if they Solitude your Emrakul, you might still win because you gain 15.
Yeah.
All right. So mine, Creativity X2.
Targeting treasure.
You can target both dwarves if you want.
I'm gonna target
or
the treasure
or do
just
that.
to be safe.
Yeah, that's fine.
In case they have like 2 Solitudes for some reason.
Sure. And for some reason, they decided to hit the dwarf rather than the payoff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, try to go to combat.
Come on, opponent. Don't do this to me. Ah!
It's okay. It's okay. You still have an Emrakul in play.
That's true. If they have a second Solitude, though, we can't win, right?
Right. And if they have a Ephemerate for the Flamekin, that was the reason to block last turn.
Okay.
We found it.
I'm gonna
Just in
attack.
time, too. Yeah, I mean, sure. You're at 9. You're probably not going to die.
All right. You
I'm
have to have
assuming
another
they...
solitude here, guy.
Yep. All right, human. Show us the doom. Actually, if they have Ephemerate, they also need another white card, which is not impossible for them to have, but it's also not impossible for them to not have. Nope, just straight up have the Solitude. All right, just scoop it up. There's no point in playing this out. You're not going to be able to win this with 3 minutes, even with the extra life.
That's
so
a shame.
It's just one of those matchups that's very, very difficult.
We spent an hour playing that.
Yep. They had everything.
Why do people do this? Can somebody explain to me why people
hold on,
do
let me get you the song, because someone wrote a whole song about it.
Somebody wrote a whole song and being like, "Look at everything I'm having." It's like, yes, you're really impressive. Is that
The
someone
Gathering?
new?
No,
Okay.
I would not.
The hubris on this person that's like, I'm so proud of my Magic the Gathering playing skills. Alright, I gotta see this video, guys.
Alright, so here we got to address a little bit of sportsmanship that's going down in the community. I'm talking about a little overkill. I mean, you can only win a match once, right? But sometimes people just gotta let you know how they had you dead twice over. Look at my they had enough extra cards in their hand in their deck to just kill you all over again. Yeah, we got
to
What was that?
to catch them all. The lyrics are available underneath the video.
Okay. I get the impression of this video. I'm going to watch it after we play some more Magic.
Sure. The point is, their phrase is, still got all Ds. That's the one last god.
I just, that's like one of the things that makes me the most upset. There are some times where people do it accidentally.
No, you didn't even have a chance. They still had all these.
What was your end game, opponent? Was it to make me feel bad for being unlucky in a card game? Was that the grand scheme?
Yeah, that's what they were looking for.
All right. This hand doesn't really do a whole lot, right?
Yes, but this is the right kind of doesn't do a whole lot in the dark.
Okay.
So the only thing you know about your opponent is they're not playing a companion, and there are some matchups where this hand is going to be great, and some matchups where this hand is going to be poor.
But we're absolutely playing Crab on turn 1.
Sure.
Killer.
Because the thing is, even though you had to shock for it, if this is burn, you just brick their Goblin Guide.
Mm-hmm. Or their Ragavan.
Could be Murktide. Yep. Ragavan, DRC.
So we just ending this.
Yep. I think that's...
Play second Crab.
Yep. So this deck, you're going to be shocking yourself a lot, and you just have to get comfortable with that. Like, you basically start the game at like 14-ish, I think, on the average game, and you just have to be okay with it.
I see.
Yeah. It is what it is, right? Like, this is not a win on the fine margins kind of game, like or a deck like Blue Moon. This is very like
I don't even play Tef here, right?
Like, I wouldn't. I would just crack the clue. And the reason you do that is you want them to be sitting there being like, I held up this counter for nothing.
Yeah, you bet
the
your
negative
sweet
tempo.
Bippy you did.
You punish the negative tempo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Thought Scour's fine. They only got to spend 1 mana.
If they try to go for Murktide next turn, we just bounce it, or we win the game 1-2.
Yep, both are options. Looks like something smaller.
Please bolt my crabs.
I mean, they might. You have your latest, craziest idea, Shauna? Hit me. One more time.
All right, drawn cards here. Now I'm starting to get into the flow of things.
Oh, I knew you would.
Ending this, maybe.
Yeah, you can ending first. I mean, I kind of want to crack the clue to try to draw land, and I'm not worried about the monkey. You have 2 crabs in play. If they kill both the crabs, like, whatever, you can play that tapped. Yeah. Oh, and here's the sweetest thing about this deck.
I can get
The
the
number-
dwarf at instant speed to kill
Yes.
the Ragavan.
The number of monkeys I have killed with crab tokens is insane. It is hysterical.
They're just... Okay.
Yep, they're going for it.
Maybe I should have ending this monkey.
No, you've got the dwarf. If they have another piece of removal they use on this, and then they hit you with the monkey one time, you're going to be okay, buddy.
Okay.
And if you're not, then you weren't going to win this game anyway.
I guess we can...
if the one monkey is going to end you, nope, dead monkey. 100 USD for the monkey, free dwarf.
Can you imagine if they don't hit a land here?
Oh, I can imagine it, but
Damn
they
it.
probably have one in
Okay.
their hand anyway. I mean, you have a spare Teferi, but I would jam Nahiri here.
Okay.
I just think Teferi is good enough in the matchup that it's probably worth holding on to the X1. So if I like counter this turn, Murktide counter next turn, yeah, you're in trouble, but you would like anyone would be in trouble
Mm-hmm.
with that hand out of them. Emrakul, by the way, if you can get an Emrakul into play against their deck, they just cannot deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Alright.
going to be hard to ending this if they keep dashing it in,
Right.
but they exiled Arid Mesa. Okay. They
Would've
only
liked to
have
draw
2
that,
cards, though.
Yep, you're getting there.
Slam second Tef.
Yep. And then Plains was a perfect draw because if it resolves and you plus it, then you can ending the monkey.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it's not going to.
Alright, let's keep doing this.
Yeah, 2 counters down.
Just gotta grind through them.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm fine with Monkey. We don't have cards they really care about anyway.
I mean, well, they can hit stuff like Ren and 6s, but
Or Lightning Bolt.
Lightning Bolt would have been a good draw. They're expressing themselves. Stop them! They're expressing themselves.
Yeah. Can't allow
It's one of
that.
my favorite jokes. It's not a very good joke, but it's still one of my favorites.
It's fun.
Yeah. I enjoy it as much as my I'm oppressing you joke when you play Urza Saga. God, I love Urza Saga. Yep, just plus, and you can play the Triome here, or you could save it for cycle. It's up to you.
I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna prismatic ending this stupid monkey, and I'm gonna feel great about myself.
The Dream. They also played 2 Unholy Heats earlier, so
The odds
not
of this guy
super
dying
likely to
to
have
Holy Heat
another.
are slim. I'm waiting till
Right.
combat, though. Okay.
Yep. Oh yeah, of course. And then one fun trick is Prismatic Ending is actually reasonable removal for Murktide Regent.
Really? How's that work?
Well, they put in like an 8/8, and then you flip it into, at worst, a
Oh.
3/3.
You said prismatic ending. You meant indomitable.
Oh, sorry. Indomitable Creativity. I was looking at the other card in your hand and thinking about it. Yes, sorry. Indomitable Creativity is a reasonable removal spell for Murktide Regent.
Right.
Not great by any stretch of the imagination, but reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
So this turn, you are definitely down ticking Teferi on nothing if you must, because you really want to find some action.
They're just giving us the free
Oh,
bounce,
perfect.
though.
Thanks, opponent. You're a treat. Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Opponent, you're too kind. Oh, it's so good.
Yo.
Come on, baby.
Please. Okay.
Well, Ren and 6 was the land already.
Yeah, you're right.
Actually, you know what we could have done is plus it's fine. Doesn't matter anymore. So I think you just creativity for 1 and see what you get here because you have a backup 1, and it's very in play.
Yeah. We're set. We're set.
Yeah, we're gold. Just make sure you leave up mana to cast Ren and 6. Yeah, that's good. All right, baby.
Okay.
Dragon. Wow, the dragon loves you. All right, let's hit a bull.
Time warp.
Let's hit a Prismari Command. Prismari Command's good enough.
Yeah. I will look at the cards.
Yeah, you go draw 2, discard 2. You're almost definitely just going to discard both the cards you draw, but, if one of them's like a time warp. Nope, just discard the ones you drew. Perfecto. And then play the Ren 6 post-combat, and you're golden.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they're going to have a very, very hard time here.
Yeah, even if they have an out for your Teferi, we know one of the cards in their hand is Murktide. They have to find a way through this dragon. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So as soon as we broke through their wall of counterspells, it just all fell apart. Poor little tempo deck. They flooded.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's fine. It
and
happens.
It can't be
happens to
tough.
the best of us.
Like, this deck can't.
No,
be
it's
Teferi.
well, actually, Unholy Heat's really good at it.
But
the thing
used
is, they
them to kill
blew
our
2 Unholy
crabs.
Heats
It was
on crabs.
hilarious.
Well, they were greedy. And I don't know that was wrong.
It might have been correct. They did kind of flood out.
Yeah, they flooded out. It's fine. It happens to everyone. The best part is if we creativity without fetching, then we
Do I
know there's
block
no
here?
time warps on the bottom.
I don't.
What's
block
it
here.
attacking?
It's attacking Tef. I don't care, right?
If the last card in their hand is a counter, it's up to you, because I think if you block and the last card in their hand is like a lightning bolt and they kill your Velomacus, you're just getting an Emrakul. You don't care.
Right.
They'll
good
have
point.
0 cards in hand. You'll have an Emrakul, and you can creativity their Murktide too. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you don't care. Nope. Not not that.
So
Right. And
up to
now,
Tef.
plus, don't fetch, don't anything, just creativity or treasure, and then attack with Velo. You can see what gets revealed on the creativity, and I mean, it's not really going to affect the odds too much.
I don't
but
think it'll
you can
affect
see
anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
they're done. Oh yeah, we should have killed the regent there. Sorry. I meant to mention it and I forgot about it. Yes. Morn is correct. So you creativity both the treasure and the regent, and at worst case scenario they get a second regent, but it's a 3/3.
Right. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have.
That's on me. I mentioned it before. I was thinking about it and then I got distracted.
I keep forgetting
Thanks,
it can
Mark.
be a kill spell.
Oh yeah. And it's again, it's not a bad one. It kills bridges. It's insanity. Okay, so in this matchup, you're gonna board out all 4 time warps and Velomacus.
Okay.
Yep.
Noted. Mystical dispute.
And 3 mystical disputes, probably 2 flusterstorms, 2 veils, and then let's see. I want to trim one Prismari command, I think, because it only really kills monkey.
And Nahiri,
And then
right?
one. No, here is great with Emrakul, and
Oh.
you have a lot of cheap ways to protect it.
Okay.
Because look at your deck now. Now you're a 4-color
point.
control deck, and a lot of your interaction is super efficient. I actually think I want to cut 1 prismatic ending
Okay.
because it can't kill dash monkeys. It's good, but it's not great.
Yeah, we can just
Going
bolt
hard
it.
on the Nahiri plan, good enough with Unholy Heat being a threat. I think with the look at the deck we just registered. We have Flusterstorms, we have Ren and 6s into the fetch. We can just outgrind almost anything that they can do. The only way they win this is by winning basically extremely fast.
Mhm.
They'll be bringing in Blood Moons. Yeah, that's the one thing I always forget about when I go to game 2. Thank you, Tapu. If we lose to Blood Moon, then yeah, that's definitely on me. But we have an Nahiri in hand. We have a prismatic ending. We
This
have
can exile Blood Moon for what
correct.
it's worth. We just gotta get our basic
that's one of the
points.
reasons I liked it being part of the main decks now. Is it used to be a sideboard card.
We keep this, right?
Yeah, because the Mesa can get to the plains.
Okay.
So this game may be a lot about going slow and steady.
I can do that.
Yeah.
It's my preference. So
That's
we
a
just
bit
get
of an
planes.
unfortunate draw. I think you grab the plains and just exile that.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Snow-covered plains.
And then next turn we're gonna play Foothills and see what happens. Might be Shock Steam Vents, we'll see. But the Mystical Dispute is definitely something. Yeah, you have answers, but you're right. We have enough answers in the deck, but Aether Gust is one of those things where it's not great to board in against Blue Red Murktide, but sometimes you just have to. In this deck, I don't think that we do. So
yeah, we don't have
nice,
to in this deck. We have enough going on.
Yeah, I think Foothills is good because then if they don't play anything for us to dispute, we get a Triome, and then our colors are fixed. Yeah. So as much as possible, we don't want to have to play this Mystical Dispute this turn, and quite frankly, we probably won't have to.
Nah, they're gonna play as little as they possibly can so that they can.
Well,
still
they're down
hold
to 4
open
cards
counters.
already. Did they take a mull?
They mold to
6, I think.
No, begins the game with 7 cards in hand.
Weird.
Yeah.
I love being on the draw. I mean, sometimes you just die because of it, but I always want more cards. I'm very greedy.
We get Triome.
Yep. They're not clocking us at all, so we
Which
can
one
just go
is
as
it?
slow as we want. Ketria.
Ketria.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
You'll learn
not
them.
cut up with.
No,
my
it's fine.
Ikoria lore.
It's just like it did the same thing to me, and it was just like you just learn them. Eventually, you learn them. Ren and 6.
Ooh, no,
I
we
think you
can't
play
play
tap
Ren and
Steam
6.
Vents this turn, but there is maybe a consideration for starting to try to force through spells. The thing is, I don't want to shock myself.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm just gonna leave
Like,
it
we still have
at-
Mystical Dispute and Flusterstorm for safety.
We could just draw another land next turn and like actually resolve one of these.
Yeah, but Mord, you can see there how distinctly different your ethos on Magic is from mine, right? Like, you just said you'd mull to 4 to be on the play. Like, I don't want to mulligan ever. I just want card volume. I just want more raw cards in hand than my opponent at all times. And then if I lose,
Same.
I really don't care because I get to feel better. Really hoping for one more land off the top
Yeah,
here.
one more land and we're just in a pretty good
Golden.
spot.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
So play the Mesa. I think you play
Ren and 6.
Ren and
right?
6. Yeah. And then try to pick up the land. We're not gonna try to use Ren and 6 to kill the DRC.
Oh,
if it
really?
resolves. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just too likely to flip. in
Right,
response.
good point. Do we bother fighting over this?
I think so, because if they untap play Murktide, we have Teferi with Mystical Dispute backup.
Right.
So you
we
fluster
get
this
Steam Vents
one.
here, we fluster.
Yeah. Mine's not even a combo mindset, Heavy Dirty Soul. It's like mid-range control. Like, I just want to go bigger. I always want to be the bigger deck. That's where I'm comfortable.
They can't even
This
like,
deck has-
mystical dispute this is the thing.
No, they can't dispute. They could have Spell Pierce. That's
Yeah,
how
Spell
they beat
Pierce
this.
is the one thing that they can do for Ren and 6.
Yep. Yep. What is this?
Or have another
Oh!
Flusterstorm. But
Wait a minute.
I
Hold
don't
on.
think this works.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
So, we only need a single copy of our Flusterstorm to resolve.
Yeah. They
So,
get 3
you're
extra
right,
copies,
yeah.
and we just pay 1 for the last one.
Yeah.
We have to.
So one
see
of
which
one of them is going to have 2 pointed at it. We can't deal with that one.
Okay.
And then there's 2 more that are lined up with 1s. So
I hate Moto. Okay.
no, it's fine. It's fine. So just look at the copies. So that one's targeting that one. Look at the next one. That one's so that's okay. So the 2 in the middle are targeting the 1 on the top. So we let them all resolve until the last one.
Okay.
So just go okay, no,
No.
okay, no. Check the stack one more time. So that's not pointing at anything. Let it go.
Okay. And we pay for this one.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like an autistic person's worst
No.
nightmare.
Okay. That's why it's good to have a friend.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
No. And then
Okay.
okay and pay. You're good. You're gold. And if their channeler didn't flip, you could kill it here if you want to.
I think I kind of do want to kill it. We
Okay.
are at 10.
I agree. They do have this avail, but they can't.
I
yeah,
have
they can't
lost
execute it.
that so many times just because the interface is so overstimulating.
Well, it's not just the interface, it's also the fact that it isn't one way ever. Your opponent can literally set it up so they try to quote like mess you up.
Mhm.
Like they'll be like, "Oh, I'll put the third 2 and the 4th one and the 5th one." And, like, they might actually set one up someday that it just like doesn't even work. right? Like that's a thing that can happen. Hey, remember that thing I said we were gonna do?
We're gonna do it.
Yeah, we're gonna do that thing. You can pick up a land first if you want.
We could do
The
that.
sequencing probably doesn't matter, but
It doesn't.
I would say.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
Yeah, even if the interface was decent though, because there's so much optionality in it, I don't know if you can design a good way for that to be other than always force it to auto target. So like they could build it so it's like, okay, you don't get to choose how Flusterstorm works against a storm spell. The way it works is you target 1 on each and 2 on the top copy. They
awesome.
could do that, but yeah.
They could do that, but they won't. They'd rather my brain explode.
That's a match win.
Yay! This deck's really sweet. But boy,
I will be
is
back
it
in 2
complicated.
seconds while you're queued. Yeah, well, you've never played it before.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not super straightforward. My first league ever with this, I went 4-1, and it was exactly the kind of deck I want to play, but like it just speaks to me.
Yeah, it was just like a match made in heaven. Sometimes you play
really
that
was.
deck and you just synergize with it.
Yep. I have the recording. It's on my YouTube. You can find a first recording of me playing this deck. It's
You're gonna have to
it's
link
just
me
like-
to that later.
Oh sure.
Sometimes
sure.
things
Yeah, for
just
sure.
click. I was bad with lots of Magic decks before I played Blue Moon, and then I was like, I love this deck because of all the tiny decisions.
Oh yeah. Well, this one has that in spades too.
Yeah, it's just they're a lot more. How do I put this?
They're just different.
Yeah, they're different than just like casting cantrips, right?
Yeah.
Most Magic decks have like all these kind of decisions. I guess it had the decisions that the easiest decisions for me to compartmentalize.
Yep. You go ahead and take the lead on the beginning of this game. I'll be right back. All right. You comfortable?
Okay, I think that I bought
In the dark, this hand is fantastic.
Wait, really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
You have double interaction and Teferi. The worst card in this hand is Time Warp.
Okay. I will try my best.
Board screams wait, as usual.
It's Belcher. How do you know? Oh, does this guy play Belcher all the time? Is that why? Okay. Well, I can just Prismatic ending the treasure. So I'm going to get the... Is it Rigurian Triumph?
Sure, Mord hates something about the hand that we kept. We on the draw?
No, we're on the play. I'm going to exile this treasure.
Hashtag it's Belcher? Oh, no, he just said it's Belcher. Sorry, I thought there was an exclamation point. Well, Belcher's going to be a bit of a tricky matchup. But yeah, definitely do that. Okay, but that's like hidden information that we shouldn't have known. So like, I'm not going to worry about it being relevant. Did they just technically correct Float the Red?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
They bolt
Good for you,
us.
opponent.
They bolt us.
Good for you, opponent. Yeah, Freak, it was just one of those decks that spoke to me. Like, you can also find a video of me playing Teamer taking turns with, like, Fires of Invention, like, a little while before that. I think I 4-1 with that the first time out. Like, taking turns is just an archetype I enjoy.
So, I'm going to fetch end of turn and get the second Triumph.
Yep.
That way we have all the power.
I think I recorded this one at the ex-girlfriend's house.
That's always fun.
Not this one, the other one.
I frequently have nightmares about my ex-girlfriend's mother. Like, frequently. It's terrible.
Yeah, she must have been a piece of work.
She did not make me feel like a human being, I guess.
Well, that's a shame, because you are one of the best human beings.
Well, it's a good thing all that shit happened, because if it didn't, I would have never met Hannah.
Well, sure, but, you know.
It was a rough time.
I just searched
But
my...
damn, did it make good poetry.
There you go.
I'm gonna target nothing.
Yeah, just... Well...
Like, Spike Field Hazard's a card, but...
No, it's more that... It's more that sometimes they have to hardcast Belcher. Like, this deck is not perfect at going off on turn on like 4 mana. It's fine. It's probably a bit, if you have a Teferi on board that can down tick, then yeah. But I don't think they would play the Belcher if you had the Teferi on board to bounce it. They're just gonna have to.
Yeah, they're just gonna win.
It's fine. This is a terrible game one.
But we have interaction.
Yep.
So
Oh,
that's
tons.
good.
Tons.
And we got great cards to take out. All right, so let me have a crack at this by myself.
No, go for it.
Experiential education. And then you can tell me if I'm wrong. Okay,
Well,
so
I mean-
what I like here is getting rid of the bolts, getting rid of prismatic ending, bringing in Ether Gust, because most of the annoying cards are red, bringing in Flusterstorm, and probably Mystical Dispute or Veil of Summer to counter the Pact Negation that they're inevitably going to play. So I'm leaning more towards Veil of Summer, because that's probably harder for them to deal with, because they generate a lot of mana anyway. And that would be what I would do.
Nice. So one thing I would say is I think you want Wear Tear, because I'm pretty sure there are a 4x Blood Moon deck.
Oh, you are right. I'm not used to playing around Blood Moon.
No, it's okay. I know.
Okay.
I know. I totally get that.
Get rid of Hard Evidence, then?
Yeah, probably like 2 copies of Hard Evidence. And then I don't think you really want Veil of Summer, and a couple copies of Prismatic Endings, probably not too bad.
Just Exile Treasures?
Or, yeah. Yeah, for sure, Last God. Sorry, I'm just making sure that I don't lead Jacob down a bad path here. And then you can probably cut... No, you don't want to cut Nahiri, because in case of the blood... Well, it's slow. So if you wanted to cut Nahiri for some number of, like, the disputes, or even Teferi for some number of the disputes, or even some Ren and Sixes for some number of the disputes, it's just like, none of these cards really affect them too much.
Yeah. I kind of want to keep in Ren, maybe take out Nahiri and 1 Tef for 2 Mystical Disputes, try that.
Sure, that's totally reasonable.
Like, Tef's a great card, but it's only really good if we're already winning, I feel.
Woo Werewolves of Modern.
Yikes.
No, it's okay. You can mull pretty low and not be too bad. You're going to 5 here. It's not the end of the world.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have not lost a Belcher with Blue Moon, so it's
well, yeah, you wouldn't.
your
Your
like,
4x counterspell deck.
Ooh, okay.
There you go.
I like this.
You don't have a fetch land, which is not great, but you ship one of the Ren and Sixes and we pray.
Probably Prismar you can too, right?
I think you want to ship Wear Tear over the other 2 cards, or even Mystical Dispute, because Mystical Dispute is a 3 CMC piece of interaction.
Yeah, good point.
So we're really hoping we hit a fetch land before turn 3, but we get to play Ren and 6 on 2, and hopefully we get to hold up the Wear Tear in case they try to Blood Moon us.
They could Blood Moon us on turn 2, though.
I know.
Because of...
It's possible. And it's also possible in which case we would hold up the Wear Tear rather than playing the Ren and 6. They didn't play a Striker Rich. They could still have a Ritual. You can shock Stomping Grounds and pass the turn if you want.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Like, I don't want to get Blood Mooned out of this game.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Well, you know what I was playing right before I shipped the thing over to you was Enhayashi Red. Yeah, Obosh Red. I like that deck a lot.
It's a cool deck. Mono Red.
We just keep passing here.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not great, but it's fine.
If we get fetch land, there might be some incentive to play Ren, but yeah.
You're gonna guess that.
Can't let them recross. They just win the game. Surgical fucks this deck up so badly.
Yeah, it's really funny, huh?
Yeah. Okay,
but they'd have nothing in the graveyard, so even if we did have Surgical, we wouldn't be able... Like, if the recross just recrossed. Well, this is super unfortunate, but again, you know.
It happens.
Yeah. Better than losing the excruciatingly long match against Elementals.
So we lose.
Yeah, next turn, right? So
we might as well just concede.
Yeah, if you want, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm totally okay with that.
I put you through garbage time yesterday with that blue-white control matchup, so
sure.
I have learned my lesson.
Oh yeah.
Opponent says question mark, and it's like, I don't have to explain myself to you, random person on the internet.
No, not at all.
Like,
I have no idea, Last God, how good or bad this deck is. I have no concept. I've never seen 80% of this deck registered in a modern tournament.
Oh
so
boy,
I have
let's
no
check it
idea
out.
if this is good or bad. It's
I
just
wanna
like a
see it.
werewolves deck.
Oh, it's a werewolves deck?
Yeah.
Guest starring Ragavan.
Of course, you can't not play Ragavan.
So what is the competitive this tribe would offer over other tribes? Is it Torval? Drawing new cards?
I'm going to assume general levels of sweetness.
Yeah, probably. So, like, extra mana and this card. But you need, like, a good mana sink to make use of that extra mana. And even then, I'm not so sure. Like, this is a decent mana sink, but you're not going to draw it every game, so... Yeah, I don't know. It could be good, but it could be hot garbage. I appreciate the zeal, though. There's the recruiter? Ooh, I need to look at that again. What's recruiter do? Oh, Duskwatch recruiter. Yeah, that is a werewolf. Okay. Yeah, that could work. Give it a shot. This hand's great. Like, this is a decent hand, right, Zach?
Yeah, absolutely. Two fetch lands of Ren and 6 is all you ever need.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna hit our
And
land
then-
drops. Our opponent's
Yeah, like we have nothing to
do.
do on turn 1. We play Ren and 6 on turn 2. If we have to, we play Ren and 6 on turn 3. Opponent mulls to 5 in their Lurrus deck. Yikes.
They
That
might be
is
Hammer Time.
Not what they wanted to see.
Hammer Time runs a lot of things that die to Ren and 6. So we just gotta not get got here. Okay. Well, we got Prismari Command, so if we live to turn 3, we get to do cool stuff. Okay. So, I'm just gonna cast Ren and Sex next turn and ping the Esper Sentinel, right? Like,
Yeah, that's totally fine. Oh, we finally hit Hammer Time. Nice.
yeah. Ragoon Triome, I believe, is the
Mm-hmm.
Jeskai one. Let me right click.
Good old Crab Rangoon Triome.
That can be how I remember it.
Delicious, delicious Crab Rangoon Triome.
Are those the things filled with cream cheese?
Yes, cream cheese and crab.
I had a horrible cream cheese experience when I was young, and now I like never eat it. My wife loves it though. She puts that stuff on everything.
I loved cream cheese when I was a kid. Cream cheese on a sesame seed bagel from the Great Canadian
That's-
Bagel. And yes, Canada is very twee, and we had a company that was called the Great Canadian Bagel.
What does twee mean?
Twee? Cutesy.
Oh, okay. Forgive me, I'm not hip with the slang.
Well, I wouldn't call it slang.
I mean, it is by definition slang, right?
It might just be a word. I mean,
You know, it sounds like
the
a
difference
word.
between slang and a word: excessively or affectedly quaint, pretty, or sentimental,
Plead
according to the
another
Oxford
one,
English.
Zach.
Well, you've got a Ren and 6. You
I
could
love
kill
it.
as many of
I
those
know!
as they want.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They played a 1-1 when we had Ren and 6 on board. Like,
No, that's exactly what I was saying. Last God is like the difference between slang and a quote like real end quote word is just how well known and used it is in broad speech or like specific
I made
communities.
the assumption that because I didn't know it, it wasn't widely used, which is presumptuous of me. It could just be a word.
No, Fine. Yeah, I mean, it's very like it's a very I don't know, old-fashioned word, I guess.
I love it. It sounds great.
Yeah.
Like the cadence of it is amazing.
Twee.
I want to work that into something.
British proper English word. Yeah, it's very stuffy.
Opponent is thinking about
That
what they
deep
want
in
to
the
do
tank all of a sudden.
with
They're
the
sitting there
two
going,
cards in
"Oh
their
shit,
hand.
I fucked up."
Maybe they forgot about the Renin 6 that just killed this Esper Sentinel. I don't know.
Maybe they're a
Colin
goldfish.
P, thank you for the follow.
The number one thing we don't want to see this turn is the Sigurda's aid, because it means the hammer that Urza Saga can get will snap on at instant speed.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, we can eventually deal with that with like Prismari Command and whatever. But
Yeah, it's just like
it's a pain.
It's not nice. Second Saga, that's what they were tanking on? Okay, so this means the first Saga can make a fairly large construct, but again, we have multiple Kolaghan's commands in our hand, so...
Hey. We don't use that word in this house. These are Prismari commands.
My bad. We have Kolaghan's command at home. Ooh, thanks, Mom.
This is so much more
Why
than
did they main
Kolaghan's
phase
command at
that?
home.
I think we're against a beginner Hammer Time player.
It's possible. There's a distinct possibility.
Shock the Sacred Founder past the turn.
Yeah.
And then, depending on what happens, we're almost definitely going Shock Shatter.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what they do here.
They might try to like they might try to do something cute and equip an equipment to the construct, like Shadow Spear. I just jumbled the words in my head. They're gonna acute something.
If you have a second to take your mind off the game, Mort has asked why you took your break from Magic, which I know is not super deeply personal to you, as you shared it when it happened and then afterwards.
Yeah, I can share it again. I wanted to do something that I sort of had complete control over, that I could do to feel fulfilled in my life, right? When I quit Magic at the time, you know, it was in the middle of all the fire nonsense that WotC was doing, and I just felt like, why am I devoting my time to something that, you know, WotC can just ruin or change, you know, whenever they want to make more money, right? I didn't like having my lifestyle dependent on something like that. So I did something I'd been wanting to do since I was a kid, and I made a video game with my wife, and now it's almost completed. And that made me comfortable enough with myself and made me feel like I was accomplishing enough to return to Magic. Because now it's not as high a priority in my life, so it's not as stressful. So that's the long answer.
Which is one of my favorite things to say about Magic is, like, it's not healthy for Magic to be the only thing in your life.
Exactly.
It's not a very forgiving game.
It's
not. It's and obviously, like, as the meta commentary is also relevant, right? Like, okay, so that's that. I mean, you could let that resolve if you want.
I think what I'm gonna, I think I'm just
Shatter
gonna,
Construct, Shock the Paladin now.
Yeah, I think that's what I want to do.
I think it works out the same, because the other construct just
this makes us take less damage. Yeah.
Oh, we're definitely all waiting on the game to be released, at least to take a look at it and then consider whether or not one would like to play it.
Trust me, when like the month before it comes out, it's gonna be like all I'm talking about on stream. It's gonna be fairly obnoxious, but
but you're all gonna be looking at like every second of every day, so it's like it's fine. That's gonna be your life at that time.
Zach,
so
do you
like...
want to know how many hours I spent just programming it? Because Steam keeps track of it.
No, I don't.
Oh,
it's probably a very uncomfortable number.
Okay.
It's gotta be, if I had to ballpark it. Okay, I want to know, but first I gotta guess. Right?
Okay,
that's more fun.
that's the way to do it.
I'm a ballpark 3,000. That's probably way too high, but I'm gonna ballpark 3,000.
So that's not even that far off. I spent 2,457 hours programming it, 700 hours writing the script, and that's not counting all the stuff I would do like off the clock. That's not counting like the 3 years of pre-planning with my best friend. Like,
Sure. All right, this is fine. You just pass the turn here, because you do want a creativity X2.
That way we absolutely win the game.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too is like right now you have hella interaction. That said, when they put their saga on the stack, I recommend fetching the dwarf. Just in case for some psycho reason they want to pithing needle your Arid Mesa.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. Okay. The fact that they're getting the construct basically means this game is over.
Yeah.
But
hang on. What's the game? An RPG? It's a visual novel. It's a psychological thriller about leaving Florida at the end of summer. But that's all I'm inclined to say right now.
which is probably good because if it's a psychological thriller, the less is more.
Yes, exactly. It's the kind of game that can have a lot of it ruined via spoilers, so I'm just not going to spoil anything.
Which is some of my favorite types of games. I love story-driven games where, like, obviously you have to have a pretty good core gameplay loop, but the most important thing to me is a very compelling story. That'll drag me through any mediocrity in the gameplay.
I feel the exact same way. All the games I play that pass the fridge test just have a story that keeps me thinking about it long after the game has been shut off.
Nice. Sorry, I linked the original Velomacus League, by the way. Just that's there if you want to grab it.
Nice. I will.
Or I'll send it to you on Discord too, just in case.
I will grab this and close the window. All right.
The very first Velomacus list. My description said, "This deck is bananas, BANANAS."
I misspelled that word during a spelling bee because they asked me to spell banana, and the Gwen Stefani song just came out. So I added
bananas.
An extra S, and everybody laughed at me. It was awful.
Aw, buddy. Oh my god, I can't believe we played Weather the Storm in this deck. We played Weather the Storm in this deck. Oh my god. What a world it was.
Was Burn really popular? Or
it was Prowess. Blue-red Prowess was huge and really good.
Nice.
That was the hardest matchup. Oh, Mort asked about the fridge test.
The fridge test is more or less when you experience a piece of media and then you quote-unquote leave it in the fridge for a day or two and see if it's still fresh in your mind, right? So if you're still thinking about what happened in the game 2 to 3 days afterwards, then the game passes the fridge test effectively. And the playtesters have told me it passed the fridge test for them, so I'm very confident about at least the story. Maybe not the programming, but the part I did I feel good about.
Well, and the thing is, if you develop a good trailer and just general experience, you won't get people who don't understand that you're coming here for the story.
The trailer, I have the script for that completely written. I just have to find somebody on Fiverr once all the art assets are done, give them those art assets and be like, okay, make a bomb-ass trailer. Here's the script. Go nuts. Because I don't have any experience in After Effects. Hannah could learn it, but she's doing a million things for marketing the game, graphic design, stuff like that. So I don't want to put more on her plate. We bring in Alpine Moon here, right? And just wear tear. Hang on, did I lose you, Zach?
No. I just realized that the very first the team are taking turns video I was talking about. That was the first week of the first wave of lockdown.
Oh. Not
in a bad way. I was just watching it and going
so
oh my god.
A year and a half ago, right? Maybe
longer. It was March 21st.
We have so many good cards in this matchup. I don't even know what to take out.
Sure. Sorry, you want Alpine Moon and Wear Tear?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you probably just board out Time Warp and Velomacus. The thing is,
Okay.
they can't solve Emrakul, period.
Okay. Well,
So you
I
just
only
need
brought
one
in
more
4.
card in.
I only brought in
So
4.
you could probably, I would cut the Velomacus and just leave one Time Warp. And
Okay.
then that's fine.
I can do that.
Yeah. You just do what you did this game, like you just like beat them to death over the first little while, and eventually you'll find a creativity and win.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not keeping the 1-lander.
I would say not.
Yeah. If we draw a green source, this hand's great.
You know, Mort, if you want to stream tonight, you know, Jacob could raid you when he's done.
I can absolutely raid you.
Mort is a wonderful Argentinian streamer who plays a ton of toolbox decks, and they're awesome to watch. He's so good at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can keep this if they have one of those nut draw hands. You're just going to die. But that's true of almost any hand you can get. Or you can mulligan this if you're like, you know, nervous about the. It's like this is one of those ones that's like a bit,
right?
Yeah, send the Teferi. Teferi's not great in this matchup. He's fine, but not great, especially with this hand because you're gonna play Triumph on one. Well, it depends. Like if they don't play a Saga on the first couple turns, you're gonna prioritize getting this hard evidence going into Ren and 6, maybe. Ooh. Oh, there you go. God draw.
Okay.
God draw. Just Triumph into Ren and 6, then
yeah.
You're good. You're good.
There we go. 24 land deck.
Feel shitty after the other day, not gonna lie. Oh, the loss to goblins or something else? Because like, I've felt shitty too, Mord, and like you just gotta keep at it, man. And it'll get easier. You'll find more people. Almost every time, if I feel like not streaming, as soon as I start streaming, I feel way better. They're prepared for your Alpine Moon.
But I just play it after they play a Saga, and I blow up their land. Like
hopefully. No, I get that, Mort. I've done exactly the same thing, and I had exactly the same reaction you did. I was like, I tilted. I acted in a way that I was not pleased with on stream, and I was not happy about it. But the best thing you can do is get back out there and realize that if you were to stop streaming, you would stop giving people something that they really enjoy. And it's really hard to understate that. Like, Jacob's a perfect example. Jacob, when you came back to streaming, how fast did your chat fill up with people who wanted to see you?
It was very quick, but at the same time, I don't regret what I did because...
No, and you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, you're not beholden to those people.
Yeah,
but...
that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, I love you guys, don't get me wrong, but I gotta take care of myself before anybody, you know?
Right. I made the joke with you. I said, you gotta look out for number one, and you're like... Is that me? I'm like, yes, it's you. You're number one. He was number one. Smitty Jorgenman Jensen.
SpongeBob's just embedded in our collective consciousness at this point.
Yep.
I think
you fed shock steam vents.
Yeah, and then 2 damage here, blow up Colossus Hammer, right?
I kind of want to just pick up the land and pass the turn and see what happens.
Yeah, you're right. There's no reason to fire it off now.
I mean, is there? So they've got 2 cards in hand.
I guess if they try to play another equipment, we can, you know.
So the one danger here is if they boot up Inkmoth Nexus, then they do have 3 artifacts. But you can shatter the... Okay, second hammer is kind of an... Well, you can't kill the Paladin. They can boot up the Nexus, equip the hammer. Well, first of all, if we had killed the hammer last turn, we would have lost here anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I guess just see what they do here. Because
I don't want them to draw a card,
but you can't stop them.
Yeah, that's true.
You cannot stop them. You have to. They have to make a mistake here, otherwise you're just dead. They must make a mistake or you lose. But I have seen Hammer Time players make lots of mistakes, so it's very possible.
Right. Yeah. Shadow Spear. Okay.
No, that's fine. You're not. That's fine. Nope, we haven't lost yet. We have not lost yet. It depends on what they try to play around.
Okay. Okay.
You might be taking 13 here.
We're gonna go
But-
to 1.
Yeah. And at
One
1
is
it is
not
very
0.
difficult for this deck to win, but it's not impossible.
Crab is... Ooh.
No. So let's see. So if you shatter the hammer that's on pure steel and shock the giver in response, they animate the nexus and they kill you with that. So that doesn't work. So you have to let this go.
Yeah.
But this means they're going to attack with both, which means you're going to take 14 and die.
Yeah.
We had to play the moon and evidence. Well, we were going to die to the shadow spear then.
Actually, there is something we can do here.
There is.
Yeah, they're gonna attack with both. We deal 2 damage to giver, blow up the Colossus Hammer, then we go to 1.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well played. Well played. I missed that.
But we gotta make sure we do it now, because...
Oh, well, yeah, for sure.
Because if we did it main phase, you're right, they just equipped the Ink Moth Nexus.
Yep, yeah. Well played.
Double Alpine Moon gets rid of the Ink Moth Nexus, but like...
Well, and we get a dwarf off the Dwarven Mine, but they have
trample
right now.
Shoot.
Well, we'll see. We could draw another Prismatic. We could draw, Prismari. We could draw a Prismatic ending. I mean, we didn't, but we could have.
I'm gonna ping myself.
You can... Well, you could get a dwarf, play hard evidence, crack the clue, and if you hit prismatic ending, you can eat the shadow spear and then die to the
right.
Yeah, there's no it. There's no. They have too much.
Wait, hang on.
Oh, actually, no, because then they wouldn't have enough artifacts
yeah,
to
exactly.
equip
That
it.
is an out.
All right, technically still alive.
Technically still
Come
alive.
on, baby.
Just gotta tap our mana correctly. If I don't draw it, I'm pinging myself, though. I'm going out on my own terms.
Damn it. Do it. Do it, Jacob. Don't let them kill you. Only I kill me.
Yeah, exactly. Not if I kill me first. Yeah, playing the moon in evidence might have worked.
Yep. Yep, we're good. Sideboarding's still fine. I think playing the moon in evidence meant we were dead.
You think so?
Yeah, they had a 23-23 trampling, life-linking paladin.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
They just put it. If we tap down low enough, they just put it all on one creature and we die.
Yeah, completely true.
I mean,
Shadow
unless
Spear
they play
makes
around a
all the
lightning
difference.
bolt, I guess. I guess they could have punted.
Still,
Well, yeah,
we'll
but
get 'em
Freak, you
game
didn't
two.
have this.
I mean,
You didn't have the same deck list we have now. Like now we have prismatic ending. This deck is quite different. Now they didn't have Urza Saga at the time.
Mhm.
It was a very different deck.
We didn't show them Alpine Moon either, did we?
Nope, we did not.
So maybe that affects how they board in game 3? Maybe they take out
It
the
might be
Seal
what's
of
happening
Presence?
right now.
Yeah. I can feel that.
There's a reason I play a split of Wear Tear and Alpine Moon though, and that game was an example.
Mm-hmm.
Because I find Alpine Moon
on one or
well,
the other.
I hate drawing 2. You have to play at least 2. Like playing 1 is kind of goofy. Like you could do it, but in my
if
opinion,
you're not
it's
playing a
kinda
deck
goofy.
that runs through itself, like finding that one's going to be really rare.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I really Wear Tear is just a beating for them.
Speaking of which,
yeah, this is good. It's not great, but it's good. Wear Tear buys a lot of time. That Dwarven Mine is not active, but I'm not worried about it.
mm-hmm.
We do need a couple of good draws, but I think this is reasonable.
just play Triome tapped. That way
Yep,
you can
yep,
play Ren
that's
and
exactly
6.
Yep, exactly.
See, now I'm feeling myself become more confident with this. It's a great feeling.
Are you feeling it, Mr. Krabs?
Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs? My theory as to why that show, specifically seasons 1 through 3, is like in everybody's minds is because, like, I can't speak for everybody, but I basically became Squidward, where I'm like, I should have accomplished so much more in my life at some point. Except I'm not bitter and resentful about it. I try to still remain SpongeBob, even though I feel the same thing Squidward feels, right? So, when you're a kid, you, like, relate to SpongeBob and all the other characters, and you're like, why is Squidward such a tool? But then you become Squidward, and it's just in your head forever. So that's my working theory.
I think it's also just age group. Like, a lot of the people you end up being friends with. Like, one of the things I know is that whenever I meet someone who has an encyclopedic knowledge of The Simpsons, they're probably right in my age group, and we're probably going to be very good friends.
Right. That makes sense. So it could just be like the people who, you know, grew up watching it, same age as you, stuff like that.
The thing is, like, technically speaking, I don't think I grew up watching SpongeBob. I think I found it when I was in, like, university.
Wait, how old are you, Zach?
I am 31 years old.
Oh, you're only 3 years older than me.
But that's old enough that I didn't grow up watching it.
Yeah.
All right, so you can play Tap Steaments, or you could Shock It if you think you're going to have to wear Tear Fuse here.
I mean, we might as well, right?
Yeah, I think it's probably fine. That's what I'm saying more, though. Like, I wasn't molded by SpongeBob, like, in any realistic sense.
I very much was.
Sure.
And
but,
Courage
like, what
the
I'm saying
Cowardly
is...
Dog. Like, that's why I like psychological horror so much. It's because of Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucked. I love it. Like, as a little 8-year-old.
Yeah, when we were kids, there were a ton of fucking weird-ass shows.
I know, people were allowed to actually be experimental. It was awesome.
What did I watch when I was growing up? Power Rangers, I know, at some point. Animaniacs, and then Pinky and the Brain when it spun off.
We blow this up, right?
No, you don't have to. They can equip it.
Well,
you probably end up doing it at end of turn just to be mana efficient, yeah?
Yeah.
And then you floop an Emrakul into play, and you say, what do you got?
Deal with it.
This is fine.
Okay.
Even if they manage to get it equipped this turn, it's fine. Which they didn't.
The spiteful attack for 1. That one could make all the difference.
No, freak, and again, before I say the next sentence, I want you all to know that I was a coworker of this person, and this is how we talked to each other at the time. But, like, I used to go to one of my coworkers who was black and go, Jama, you're black, right? And it was just like a funny joke between, like, so I have this habit of, like, there's an obvious quality of someone, and you'll just be like, walk up to them as if you didn't know. It's like, well, how could you not know? And it's like, anyway.
my friend group, I love them, but they've taken to saying I have a special brain lately in the token of referring to my autism. But I allow it because, you know, they mean well. But if somebody said that on the street, I'd be livid. But there's some things you can just say with your friends, right?
Yeah, well, or like someone you know, right? Like
exactly.
It's different when that's the context, right?
Exactly. That's why they get a pass.
Well, it's not even, and it's like, but it is funny. Like,
yeah, completely. If the other person thinks it's funny and you think it's funny, that's fine. Like,
yeah, exactly.
If it's a 2-person interaction and both parties benefit, you're golden.
Right. It's like with anime, when a lot of time when they draw black characters, and especially in certain eras, it's like, wow, that would be so racist if it was American.
There is one show I can think of off the top of my head that has done it really tastefully, and that's Black Lagoon.
Mr. Popo is kind of not okay. But, like, again, Mr. Popo is not okay if you knew... Okay, and then there's actual Japanese racism, but like
Yeah,
they don't have the
exactly.
same history of slavery. So it's a big difference in like the power divide between like I don't want to get into the whole details about it. It can be inappropriate, but it's not inappropriate as the same way as American shows depicting blackface, right? Like it's just not. Like the crows in Dumbo, totally different from Mr. Pogo.
Yes. There's like it being from another culture doesn't necessarily excuse it, but you have to be cognizant of all the details that go into making that claim, right? And it's hard to be cognizant of all those details if you didn't live in that environment, right?
Right.
So.
And like they like again without that cultural bias, like they just did it because they thought it was funny. And yeah, that's offensive, but it's a totally different way. That's like, yeah, but those people were your slaves like 20 years ago.
There's different flavors of it. Is what we're trying to say, and being aware.
And the real truth of the matter is, all throughout history, wherever you had two cultures, they created racism. Doesn't matter how exactly the same that both of those cultures looked. The French hate the English, historically speaking, and they are almost exactly the same. No, it's good, Freak. It's good. It is my fault. So Velomacus turns.
I love this deck. It's really fun. I was a bit skittish tapping out so much in the first couple of games, but during that last game, I was able to talk with you about like stuff from our childhood while piloting this. So, like night and day from the beginning to the end. It was really cool. I feel like I learned a whole lot. The combo potential of this seems really, really strong. And these permanents are just so hard to deal with that they buy you time, maybe not in the same way a counterspell does, but people having to deal with Teferi and Ren buys you enough time to get your combo off. It's really interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And more to the point that it's not just about giving you time to get your combo off. They can win the game on their own. Like sometimes Ren and 6 is like, don't worry guys, I got this one.
I have infinite turns. Like that happened. That actually happened. Our two losses were against like Elementals, which just seems like a hard matchup, and Belcher, which also seems like a hard matchup, but in the matchups where we were favored or like even, it didn't really feel super close.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So this deck does have a vulnerability, as I mentioned,
like
to very linear decks. So anyone who's just trying to kill you turn 3, turn 4, that isn't trying to do it with creatures, like, you know, this is a very slanted version of this deck for the current metagame. This is meant to do its best to compete with, you know, Grixis Luris and Blue-Red Murktide and Hammer Time and etc.
I think that if like Storm was a deck, this deck would have a lot harder time, but Storm's not a deck, and like Belcher's barely a deck that people play, so.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because when I was playing the older versions of this deck, so let me grab you the original deck list, and you can open this up. Here, I'll send you a Stream Decker link over Discord, and you can open that up. Alright. Because you can see the difference, and here, there you go. Stream Decker link is there, but you can see the difference. And actually, back in the day, I had some very intense challenge matches against both Ad Nauseam and Storm, some of which I won. But you'll see that the difference is that there's no hard evidence, there's no prismatic ending.
1 second. I have to pull it up by closing my Discord, because my Discord is like 90% art for the game, and I don't want to spoil people for that. So
no worries. So anyway, back then there was no prismatic ending, there was no hard evidence. So we were playing Remand and Growth Spiral.
And I imagine those were a lot better against the combo decks.
Not only were they better against the combo decks, but this deck was able to put out a turn 3 kill.
Yeah.
Because you could Growth Spiral on 2, hit your 4th mountain on 3, and then Creativity for 1, you get Velomacus, and then you attack, and you have 8 time warps to hit.
Jace and each time you do, put the time warps on top of your library, isn't he?
You know the funny thing? Jace actually was only kept in the deck for most of its tenure, because he gave you an out to Heliod going Infinite Life, because Heliod was very popular at the time.
It's true. Yeah, no kidding.
Obviously, the deck has evolved lots since then. But this was a much more linear version. And again, just like 3 weeks ago, I took out a version that was almost exactly like this. And I 5-0'd with it on a Friday night because I ran into like Greentron and Amulet and then a bunch of other matchups that we just ended up winning.
Yeah, a bunch of matchups that this kind of deck would be well positioned against.
Well, it wasn't even just some of the well-positioned. We won some of the poorly positioned ones because you can just kill people out of... Like, anytime your opponent taps out, if you have access to 4 mana the next turn, you might just kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really powerful place to be.
It gives me Splinter Twin vibes. But...
It does. It 100% does. It took me a while to realize that because I didn't play during the Splinter Twin era. So I didn't really appreciate it.
Dude.
But it's 100% true.
I have something to say that's probably going to make people not respect me, but when Twin was at the apex of its popularity, I had been playing Magic about a year, and I was a blue-red hipster. I was like, man, I hate that Splinter Twin deck. It's making it so that other blue-red decks can't compete. And then they banned Twin, and I immediately hated myself because next year I started playing competitive Magic, and I'm like, oh no, all these other blue-red decks are kind of bad. And then I made them less bad.
So yeah, I'm glad you had so much fun. And then again, for those linear decks that we did, in the linear decks that we lost to, you can make a lot of sideboard changes to fix those matchups. We have 4 Aether Gusts, but you could play some number of Celestial Purge because that is a split card against black decks and Blood Moons.
Mm-hmm.
So we played that on occasion. Mystical Dispute is an okay card right now. Flusterstorm is a very good choice, but Mystical Dispute is like, it's fine. You probably don't.
It's debatable. This could be more things that deal with the aggressive decks.
Right, and same with the Veil of Summer. We never brought that in. I don't know that you need Wear Tear and Alpine Moon, but Alpine Moon helps against Tron, so it's a split card against Tron and Hammer Time, and any Saga decks, realistically, because there's a bunch of those now. So there's just a bunch of different ways you can go with this.
It seems like it has a lot of play to it. Like, the main deck you don't alter too much, but the sideboard you can really just fix around a lot to help with games 2 and 3. I think this core right here is really, really strong.
It is. Although I will say that depending on the metagame, if there's a lot of Unholy Heats around. Now, at the moment, it's a bit of a lull. But if there's a ton of Unholy Heats around, Velomacus becomes a lot worse.
Yeah.
And therefore, you cut Velomacus in the 4 Time Warps, and you add one of either Sarah's Emissary or...
There's another card you can choose. That.
Yeah. But then you get 4 more slots for interaction. You don't need to play 4 Prismari Command. You don't need to play 4 Prismatic Ending. You don't need to all of these things.
You just
are
know I like
flexible.
4-ups.
Well, I know, but also this was a version that I just keep kicking around. Yeah, so Wafo Tapa, when he won the challenge last weekend, he was playing 4 Fire Ice and 1 Lightning Bolt. So he decided he wanted more sort of flexible cards like that and less turn 1 interaction, because quite frankly, the deck doesn't necessarily need, you've got 4 hard evidence to block monkeys and 4 prismatic endings. So, do you really need 12 turn 1 plays that all are good against monkey?
Probably not. And the ice can, tap down their lands low enough to make your combo more secure.
Right. And I tried his list. I went 4-1 with it, the first time out. It was just, super smooth. Mm-hmm. All 4, the 4 Fire Ices were great. Fire Ice is a premium right now. There's a lot of time where you get double kills. You kill 2 creatures with your Fire Ice. It's
enough
sick.
Times where you have a thing for it on your soundboard.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I had those loaded up before, but also ice, right? Sometimes your opponent leaves up 1 red or 1 blue, and they're like, haha, they'll never be able to combo, and it's ice that and then kill you.
Yeah. It seems like there's a lot of really cool ways to build this deck. I'm sorry if I'm not saying a whole lot. I'm just kind of processing it all, because there's a lot of play here. There's some fun stuff you can do with Teferi. to just like Indomitable on their end step.
Yeah.
Securely
Oh no,
go that
100%.
way.
I mean, and the non-Velomacus decks tend to do that a little bit more, because Velomacus has haste, obviously, and most of the other threats that people play do not. So Sarah's Emissary. So the reason Sarah's Emissary is a choice is that when you Velomacus X2, you get Emrakul and the Sarah's Emissary, and in most matchups, you can choose a card type that means they have to deal with one of, like, they can only deal with one of your creatures.
It's like a spell Skype for your Emrakul if you're against Solitude decks.
Exactly. So yeah, that's exactly what. Well, but they can't use Solitude. So what it is so say you're against Elementals, you put out the Sarah's Emissary and the Emrakul, and you name creature
They
on the
just
Sarah's
can't win.
Emissary. Well, that means the only thing they can have is Teferi. So they can Teferi and then bounce the Sarah's Emissary, and then they could Solitude your Emrakul, but that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
That's a big ask.
And if you
for
got
them to have all
Emrakul
that.
in there too, like, they're gonna die. They're
Probably,
not gonna live
exactly.
long enough if you attack them with Emrakul.
Oh no, for sure. That's but the point is the Sarah's Emissary exists to make sure that the Emrakul gets to attack.
You can also theoretically cast it, right?
The Sarah's Emissary? Yeah, in those decks, yeah, you can. I think it's triple white,
Which is
but
a
I
stretch.
think they play an extra Sacred Foundry.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, I think we're good for tonight, though. I did enjoy playing the deck. We should do more stuff like this in the future.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, creativity as a engine and archetype are definitely is definitely something that's super fun. It's worth exploring. So, if you've gotten addicted to creativity for Emrakul or whatever, like there's tons of different ways you could do it.
I definitely want to try this out on stream some more. I want to explore this archetype.
Yeah, well, the creativity decks as a group, I've played almost any version that exists. So if you want any feedback or any ideas or anything, just
I will hit you up for a Fire and Ice version because I want to play more Fire and Ice. I was low on the card before until I started playing more of this meta, and now I just want to play it in every deck.
Nice. You went against Burn by hardcasting Sarah's Emissary. Well, you always want to make sure you have the ability to hardcast your big threat, in my opinion, which is one of the reasons why for so long I kind of bulked against Emrakul. I was the person who I would always sideboard Kozilek instead of Emrakul because I'm like, well, there's a bunch of matchups where it's like you can just end up casting it. But I've never cast an Emrakul in one of these. Yeah, Prismari Command making treasures definitely bridges you on colors a lot of the time.
Mord, you should stream so I can raid you if you haven't started streaming already.
I don't think he has because I've popped open Twitch and I've been looking for someone to raid for us.
Okay.
There's not anyone who I know that's streaming Modern and I'm like super excited to raid. There is someone doing Modern Black Devotion that I know. Oh, Mord's setting up.
I will give you 25 seconds.
25. It's a
That's
gift,
5
Mord.
extra
It's a gift.
seconds.
5 extra, and for a low price too.
Thank you. Speaking of gifts, thank you, Zach, for pitching this idea to me. It was really, really fun. And I love doing these co-streams. It's always like a really fun, and like doing the switch back and forth of the coaching session was like it was just a perfect fit, right? We also got the same record too, which was pretty funny.
Yes, really funny, right?
Yeah.
Like just
We
like,
both
completely
3-2
randomly.
with it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, after our stream last night, I came up with an idea. Maybe running Search for Azcanta in the main deck of Blue Moon with Murktide Regent would help against the grindier decks because it also facilitates the Murktide plan a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. Well, did you see that Grixism or First Turn Negator top forward the challenge?
Yeah, and I saw he had it in his sideboard, and I'm like, Azcanta's a card I forgot about. Maybe we can make that work in the main board.
But on top of the fact that he had that, if you go back and watch the video when I have it, first of all, I mentioned multiple times, I was like, I think Cryptic Command is still playable in this format, but it's
Was
like,
he running
you know,
a
like
single Cryptic
one or
command?
two of. How many is he playing? One. He's playing one Cryptic.
I
was
should
like,
just play Negator's List then.
Well, you should try it because what was another card that I mentioned? Oh, you know, it'd be
Shark
really
Typhoon.
good. It's just like a little Neil Brazen Borrower playing one.
Yeah.
So
We're on the right
he has
trail.
done right, and he's done what you said that you were in the process of doing, which is, all right, I want to play a bunch of 4-ofs and figure out what I like, and then from that point, shave the ones I feel like I have too many of, and increase the numbers on the ones where I think, you know, what gaps do I feel like the deck has. And he's playing 2 Prismari Command, and I think that is probably a card
That's a
you
good
don't necessarily want to play 4-of.
Yeah. So I should just play his list because he's done a lot of the heavy lifting for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's something that
Well,
I
at least
think
to
I'll do
start,
tomorrow.
and then keep all your options open, right? Also, Grix, just so you are aware, for at least 3 or 4 months, like back when I was grinding a lot of challenges on Velomacus, every week he was always playing Blue-Red X. So he would play Breach, he would play Blue Moon, he would play Grixis Breach, he would play like just anything
So
in
the guy
the
knows
Blue-Red
his
X
stuff.
camp.
The guy knows
He
his
knows
stuff.
his stuff. That's what I'm saying. It's like he's done his homework, but also his mana base looks very suspiciously almost exactly like yours.
Well, I'm not going to take credit for that. Maybe it was just like the right idea and we both just met in the right
He has a
spot.
Ventress, which I don't think you had.
Yeah, I haven't played with Vantress. I might play with Vantress. Okay,
Yeah, I would strongly consider it.
I need
It's free
ice
value.
water, so I'm going to end the stream.
Oh well, yeah, go raid Mord.
Okay. But I really, really appreciate this. It was a lot of fun. Is Mord
really-
online?
Yeah, he should. I haven't checked. Just try raiding Mord to light and then.
Yo, there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
I don't know
he's-
if I'm following him either, so I'll probably hop in and do that as well.
Well,
But
go grab your water and I'll walk you through how you export your videos from Twitch.
yes, that would be very ideal.
Hit the raid button and we can both get up for a second because I want to throw some food in the microwave and then I'll come back and I'll talk to you through the
All right,
thing.
meet you here in 5. Everybody, thanks for stopping by. I hope you had fun.